Hey guys, welcome to our discussion of the Nintendo Switch announcement. Now, unlike a lot of videos, we're not going to do the hidden Easter eggs thing or like some sort of hypey, like yelling a lot, skimming the surface sort of thing. We actually did a lot of research and a lot of studying and made a list, and we're going to cover a lot of stuff about this that most people aren't talking about. And this sort of in-depth discussion is the exact reason we'll never be popular on YouTube. But I still believe in like elevating the standard and delivering a better piece of content to you guys, which is why I like doing the Rant as Go as a very, research thing, a very well-written thing instead of just the, I'm going to yell about this thing without doing enough research to find out if it's actually true sort of thing. So understand that by doing this, we know we're never going to be popular, but we also know you want this, so maybe consider supporting us in some other way. Like buy our t-shirts. We sell those, right? I guess go to our Patreon. So because there's so much to go over with this, and it's mostly a hardware announcement, really, we wanted to do this a little bit backwards, so stick with us for a bit here, okay? We're going to talk about the games in the trailer, the confirmed ports or sequels, and then we're going to talk about some possible ports that may be happening. Talking about the software up front, and then all the hardware stuff, and going into detail on that on the back end. So please stick with us as we get through the games and stuff. Bob, there were games in the trailer. The first game I wrote down is fucking huge.
Right.
Skyrim.
Uh-huh.
You know how many fucking bros and juggalos I can be like, it plays Skyrim and is a portable, and it's sold.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that that game has that staying power. Like, those people have played that game for hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
And they would do it again.
Yes.
If it's portable,
Yes.
they would be
it
able
looks
to...
slightly better even. That helps it. That really helps them swallow the pill. Because, like, Bethesda's like, we don't have a new one. Here's the old one again and shinier.
Right. I like that they don't even... There's no thought of, oh, we should do Fallout. No. That's not Skyrim.
Right. Man, I didn't even think about trying to get Fallout 4 to run on this thing.
Right.
We'll get into that later. But Skyrim Remaster is a brilliant move. It makes the argument for the idea of the Switch brilliantly. Of like, you can play it as a console, you can play it as a portable, you can play Skyrim everywhere. And like, I've never seen Nintendo been this on point with marketing ever, basically.
Yeah, that...
We have your number. Shit! How they, like the YouTube video is them holding up my phone number. Like, that's how... Which, to be fair, it's not my phone number. It's everyone else's. It's the general masses. They look at the video, they see their number. Because Skyrim is huge.
Right.
Like, that... You could... I don't think a single person would have expected this.
Yeah,
I never heard, like, they're going to get third-party support? And they're going to get Skyrim.
This is like what they did earlier this year of showing up at the Apple press conference.
Yeah.
Like, that's another thing you would never expect from Nintendo. Like,
not even slightly.
Right. It's crazy.
Yeah, the idiot who's like, Nintendo's going to show up in the Apple conference and announce a Mario game would get thrown out. The asshole who's like, they're going to announce Skyrim as a launch title, remastered, would get thrown out. All these people would be right, but they would be complete heretics.
Right.
Before the event occurred.
I find it funny that Bethesda is denying that they've announced a game. Because...
Really?
Yeah, because technically nothing in that trailer was announced. Which is weird. But obviously that's going to be there. They just don't want to talk about it because they have the ports coming out like in a week.
Well, Bob. That could have been Infinity Blade.
No, Dan, it was probably Dark Souls.
I'm going to be some asshole. Let's toss some shade. Movie Bob thought it was Dark Souls. For some reason, Greg Miller, for the first bit, thought it was Infinity Blade. Why the fuck does anyone listen to these people when it's like, here's that game you dumped 100 hours in, and they're like, is that a phone game? Like, who the fuck? It's like if they showed me Mega Man 3, and I was like, is that Contra?
Right?
Fuck! Because I refuse to believe that Greg Miller hasn't dumped a significant... I've dumped 45 minutes ever into Skyrim. Was I even in on that quick play? I may have been.
Did we do a quick play?
Yes.
Oh, man.
That's an old one.
Wow, yeah.
Right?
What, does it be an aggro or something?
Yeah, I think it's you and Aggro and maybe me. So if you combine all that, I've looked at Skyrim for an hour and 10 minutes. Even I immediately went, oh, Skyrim, brilliant. You know what was the tip? Dragons.
It turns out the game had lots of dragons.
And also an art style that's highly iconic. You can identify what is Bethesda art really easily. That looks gross.
Bethesda art. Yep.
Yeah.
There we go.
So I think that's gonna do really well for them.
Yeah, for sure. That's crazy.
The Wii U never once had an argument this strong to buy ever. Like, you take every game combined, and all of those combined don't have the selling value that is, it plays Skyrim, but better, portable.
Right. Like, that's different from even, it just plays Skyrim.
And I'm gonna jump ahead to something that was further down our list originally, but I feel has the same value. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
That was in that trailer. And holy shit, like, the idea of, like, your launch games? Maybe Skyrim and Zelda Breath of the Wild, portable and at home console. That's fucking nuts.
That is insane. Like, that. We went over it plenty in the other podcast. The new Zelda game looks amazing.
Oh, yeah,
Just
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, a podcast or two ago, so 3 years ago.
Right.
We talked about Breath of the Wild, really everyone's favorite game from E3, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, everyone in GigaBoots.
No, everyone. If somebody else thought it was something else, they were wrong. They just didn't look at Breath of the Wild long enough. Oh wait, Rosa-chan was...
Yeah, I've run into a few naysayers that's like, you're crazy.
It's that easy. It's that easy, you guys. Go to NeoGAF, read something and it's really stupid and just go, you're crazy. just get over it. Do a 360 and walk away.
That person was the person I met in person.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Did you say it out loud or just in your head?
I don't remember at this point. I still have my job, so it's probably in my head.
That new Zelda looks bad. You're an idiot. Shit. Yeah, no, that's the best looking Zelda in a while. And it has all these, like, great open worldish mechanics that looks, and it's so adventurous in a way that I am excited for. Unlike Skyrim.
Yeah.
Like, Skyrim doesn't do it for me. So both of these, fuck. Let's get some lame ones out of the way. We're doing two biggest stuff right now. Let's
Okay.
the NBA 2K. They showed that.
Right. I mean, it's good to show that they have third-party support for something like that. It's a yearly game. I don't think they ever had that on the Wii U.
It would have just been really strange to show that basketball court and they were playing, like, Rockstar's table tennis. It's not basketball, but good compromise.
That would be quite something.
It really would.
Confirmation of the port of Rockstar table tennis. Nuclear bomb.
Right? They would just drop that. Sony's like, no! We had that!
Actually, no, they didn't.
We let it slip through our hands. We could have bought that exclusive. What was that thing from the Burnout people? The founders of Criterion went off and made that other thing where it's like Dangerous Golf.
Dangerous Golf.
Is it Dangerous Golf?
I think so.
Okay. There you go. It was originally that. But yeah, it's good to show third-party support.
Right.
Like, it's good to show a variety of games. Even though there was only one game they needed to show. I'll wait till we get to the end of this list of games they showed.
Right.
Before I cover that. They had Splatoon. And it had new costumes and stuff.
Yeah, new map and
new map,
costumes.
new costumes. And it looked like customization. Because before, you couldn't customize the hair.
Yeah, it was just the skin color, the eye color, and that was it. You couldn't even customize
like attire.
Else. Well, you could do attire.
Okay, yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, it was a heavy amount of that, but as far as person, you couldn't.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that was a real shortcoming when I played Splatoon.
Yeah,
where I was like, the hairstyle's really...
Yeah, like I thought the girl had a cool hairstyle, but then the guy had like a kind of lame one.
Yeah, the girl definitely has a more iconic, interesting hairstyle.
Yeah, like that's the one that came like an internet thing.
Yes. Female protagonist, check. Add it to the Steam list. So I'm really excited. I'm really glad that we don't have to sit here and anticipate Splatoon. Right. You know, they were just out of the gate. Yeah, fucking Splatoon. We got that. Now it's portable.
And apparently it's going to be at MLG tournaments.
And it's esports, bitch. Like, that's great. That's right. Hilarious. Hey, who wants to play Splatoon on a good controller?
Let's hope.
We'll get into hardware later, Bob. Don't get too excited.
Kill me.
You just start pouring sweat. I need out of this room. This person isn't human. I don't see enough YouTuber crossovers where that goes down. Where one of them's clearly like, what a fake asshole. In fact, I don't see enough infomercials where they do that either. But in any case, let's get back to it. I don't know which of these to talk about first. I'll go with Mario Kart.
Yeah.
Mario Kart had a level that was in the DLC of 8.
Right.
It wasn't in the original version of 8. Which that DLC plan for 8 was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
That was a lot of courses.
It was. And a lot of characters, a lot of stuff, just in general.
And that's really cool. It also showed a double power-up system, which was not in 8 as far as I know.
Yeah.
As far as I remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I wish we played 8 more, but at the same time, by not being portable, it was lacking something. And they have collapsed the waveform! They smashed that shit! They're like, it is both, motherfuckers! And I'm like, oh, cool, because I'm really just an idiot who wants some reason to have his own monitor at a thing and be like, this is necessary, you guys. Whereas everyone else is fucking reasonable. They're like, use the portable, you dumbass. And I'm like, no, I need to see it on my color-accurate monitor. So yeah, Nintendo consoles... I'm just going to pepper this now so that way I don't have to later.
Right.
Their screens suck.
Yeah, they often have hardware compromises in lots of ways.
Oh, yeah. Super cheap. Like, the screens are always really red. The response time isn't as fresh. We use that USB out for the video for our 3DS capture, which we'll never have to do again. Thank you, God, for these portable games. I'm so happy. But we use that output straight to our monitor, and it looks a billion times better. That isn't a perfect capture, that USB capture mode. And it still looks infinitely better on that screen. You're just like, oh man, those colors, that sharpness, shit. Here's the real bomb here, though. Because Splatoon, whatever. Zelda, we knew. Skyrim, whoa, that's crazy. But Mario game.
Yeah, new Mario game.
New Mario game. Does not look
3D
like...
Mario game.
New 3D Mario game. None of this... Here's another new Super Mario Bros.
We know no one really likes it, but here it is.
Welcome to Compromise Central. Here's your launch Mario. I am super jazzed to learn more about that. I need to know a name. They show a desert town, and the first area looks kind of like a hub. Like, slightly, because it has NPCs you talk to.
Right, it does have NPCs. Don't look violent.
Yeah, which kind of happened in Galaxy. And in 64, if you think about it. Like, levels had those things in it.
Like the pink bomb, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, so, like... And it's, like, in this desert level, and there are weird ice crystals sticking up. Mm-hmm. And it's just... I'm really curious. There were no coins.
Yeah, that was super weird not to see coins in a Mario game.
And then part of the level structure, it didn't look like a collectible, but part of the level were floating rings that weren't spinning. They were just like that.
Yeah.
And that's very intriguing. Also, there was a floating heart in the air, kind of like how in Mario 64 you could run through a heart and it would keep spinning and refilling your health depending on the speed you ran through it at.
Right.
But it just looked like a pickup. Because it was much smaller and didn't, Yeah,
and we also saw them pull off a long jump and a triple jump.
Mm-hmm. That's their way. Here you go, guys. It's back. Because the long jump isn't in... the 3D World game, is it?
I think it might be.
Yeah.
But
I don't know, maybe they just nerfed the length of it.
It like everything in that game, it didn't feel right.
Right.
Like if I'm remembering right, because
I mean
try
the sense
not
of
to think too much about
physics,
that game.
the physics and stuff and the actual depth of the platforming that is really limited compared to a real 3D Mario. Which even Nintendo has admitted, that is not a successor to 64. That is not a successor to Galaxy. It's just a different thing. Feels very different. Fuck everyone who says it's perfect.
Yeah.
In any case,
that game getting 9s and 10s still is like, guys, what's up with...
What if the industry is powered by hipster fanboys? So those are all the games in the trailer.
Yes. So
Did you want to comment on any more of those? Any of those more before we move on?
Not really. I think we got...
Okay, so here's the stuff that is confirmed, but not confirmed. Ports or sequels for the platform. Like, we already mentioned Splatoon was in this boat until it was shown in that trailer.
Right.
Now it's like, that's a game. Here are the other ones, though, that were that were heavily rumored.
Yes.
Pokken, the Pokemon fighting game. That's cool.
Yeah, they actually keep like releasing characters in the arcade.
So it'll be a pretty obvious transition to be like, here's the version for the Switch.
Right.
And that's good. That game needs more characters. I would have liked it if that game ran better.
Yeah, and if this has a hardware boost at all, we can hope that it runs.
We can, and we'll get into that later. It's going to be better than the Wii U, basically.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way they couldn't do that, right?
What if they were idiots? Nintendo?
Never.
No. They just followed up the Wii with their worst selling console ever. So, Pokken, we already mentioned Splatoon. Mario Maker would be huge to me. Because it's on a portable, and it wouldn't be nearly as compromised as the 3DS one has to be.
Yeah, the 3DS one, they just showed it off like a month ago, and they just showed off like, it's not anywhere near what you want.
Yeah, no.
It's like, okay.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah.
I have to wonder if they're planning to bring the Yoshi game over too.
Yoshi game?
Yeah.
Oh, Willy World?
Yeah.
I hope not. I really just, like, what could you do with it? It would just be there again. That anyone cares about?
Yeah. Because nobody wants to buy the Wii U, obviously.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of people will think these are new games.
Yeah.
Just because no one knows about the Wii U's library, because no one wants to know. And that's the thing with a lot of stuff. Like, people don't know about blank because they don't want to know. People a lot of the times make the decision before they have the information. Which, you know, in the case of the Wii U, served them pretty well. I mean, sure, they would have missed Splatoon, but now they're not gonna.
Yeah, no, they had a lot of cool games.
Like not Star Fox Zero.
Yeah.
Which is not heavily rumored, but is possible.
Right.
They might fix it by removing motion controls and designing the levels so that way it spawns in a reasonable way.
Yes. There's ways to fix that game. They could do it.
That one's a possible port, but it's not heavily rumored. You know what is, and what should have been in this trailer, and which is the only game that matters.
What's that, Dan?
Smash Bros, motherfucker. Smash Bros.
It's true.
I had to look up there to make sure. Yeah! Ha ha! I was blocking it the whole time. Okay, maybe not. That would
not
be
too much.
Hey guys, let's talk about the Nintendo Switch.
But yeah.
But yeah, Smash Bros. Smash Bros. With the Switch. With the N Switch. Somebody pointed out the Nintendo Switch, abbreviated. NS. The NS.
Yeah.
It's nice. It takes the letter out of NES much faster. The NS.
It's true.
Smooth. The Nintendo Entertainment Switch. You fucks. With the Switch, you can bring 4-player Smash Bros. Anywhere. Yeah. That's life-changing.
That is pretty great.
That's a new religion. That's not...
Of course, you'll need to bring something to power, because, I mean, if you're playing a Smash Bros. With 4 people, you're going to want to do it for more than whatever this thing's battery life is. I'm not saying it's short.
You're right. But you would want to do it more than 10 minutes. Which, yeah, I am very interested in what powers this thing.
Right.
If it's the dock only, we'll get into that later, though.
Right.
Make sure we bring it up when we get to the dock and stuff. But other possible ports, let's talk about that. Not super confirmed things like Smash Bros, which is going to be amazing. I'll buy it for a 3rd time.
There's one I actually forgot to write down.
Actually, real quick, keep that in mind. The one thing I need from Smash Bros on the NX or Switch, we're just not sure. Might be either. On the Switch is they need to have the 3DS levels.
Yeah, they do. Jeez.
The 3DS had really great levels, which is crazy because it was more limited by the hardware, and yet they overcame that to make really great levels, like the Kirby's Dream Land Game Boy level, the Earthbound level, the Pac-Man level.
Yeah, the Pac-Man everyone knows, not
the
that
Spirit Tracks level.
Yeah, jeez, that thing with Fields was great.
The other Zelda level with the bridge, like the cool one.
Oh yeah, the Gerudo Valley.
That game will be incredibly better if it just comes out with those levels on a console. That's all it needs, but I'm sure they'll do more.
Yeah, I mean, I would expect more characters, honestly. I mean...
It would be nice.
It'd be nice. It'd be really cool. Even if it's just, okay, it releases with the characters that were DLC before, and then they're working on a new set of DLC plan. Like, I would buy...
That would be good for you?
Yeah, I would buy more.
Honestly...
Nintendo's basically the only people I buy a season pass from.
Yeah, because they're quality.
right?
Every time. Has there ever been a season pass from them that hasn't been like this incredible value? And
Really, I mean,
really
even freaking
polished
Hyrule Warriors was insane amounts of stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. For me, for Smash Bros, it doesn't need the original DLC characters if it ships with more characters on it, and those are available as DLC again.
Yeah, because I understand the licensing issues with Cloud,
and
Ryu,
Bayonetta and Ryu, and and the Fire Emblem characters. I mean, just
yeah, that cost them a lot.
those were OCs they licensed for fans. Those were all marked. But yeah, I can understand everything about the Fire Emblem characters and obviously Earthbound.
Yeah.
Because those are the super obviously easy to put in, again, sort of characters. There were some unconfirmed leaks a bit ago about what characters would be coming to the Switch version.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty interesting list. I don't remember it off the top of my head. But they seemed like logical grabs when you're considering what Smash Bros. Has gotten to nowadays, where it's like, Rod the Robot's in it. And
right.
a 7th Fire Emblem character, which I love. People who are like, the Mario series has 1 billion characters. Why do people complain about Fire Emblem? And it's like, because one of these is the cornerstone of Nintendo.
Right.
And the other one's a portable series that's about tactical warfare and butt sex.
It's just frustrating.
In Japan, in America, it's about normal, hetero, Christian god sex. Hey, what were you gonna...
Like, it's just weird that we don't have more Zelda characters. It really
yes,
is.
Yes, it's fucking bizarre. Like, where's Sheik?
Yeah.
What's the name of her trainer?
Impa.
Impa. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, like they can think of a whole Warriors game full of characters.
But they couldn't put more than, what, 4?
Yeah,
and
like freaking
5? Because 2 of them are reskins?
Yeah, and Ganon is just freaking...
Ganon's Captain Falcon.
Captain Falcon.
And then you got 2 Zeldas, because it's Zelda and Sheik. And then you got 2 Links, because it's Link and Toon Link. So you have 5 Zelda characters.
They're basically all just the main 3.
Yeah, and that's crazy. That's really dumb. I want to play as the Windfish. I want to open my mouth and end the world.
So, yeah, who get the dream battle, Windfish, Fishes Ridley.
Yep, finally. we can have it here on the Nintendo Switch. Finally, it has the horsepower thanks to the NVIDIA Tegra that Smash Bros. Has always deserved.
You could almost fall in love with it.
You can almost fall in love with it.
This is Luna. She is a computer-generated person. Luna is beautiful enough to fall in love with.
You guys should go back and watch the 2005 Sony conference.
It's beautiful.
It is a fucking piece of art. That shit, Bob, if we came up with a scripted video that was just what we think the 2017 E3 from Sony was, but it was presented in that style of the 2005 one, it would be performance art. It would be regarded as an art piece because it is so far removed from reality, right? With the power of the PlayStation 4 Pro, you can spin this car around that exists in real life because it filmed it with a webcam, and you access that through the internet. And then we improved that webcam video via the digital locker. Idiot.
It scanned it in.
It scanned it in. Now you can drive it in Gran Turismo.
With Spider-Man.
This is what Spider-Man would be like with Gran Turismo. Here's Alfred Molina's face. Here's him talking to something that isn't even rendered. The tentacle.
This means something.
Oh no. Then that means.
God. They are so insane.
Yeah. It's a very different industry now.
Yes.
I do love Sony Japan. We brought this up in another podcast, but I love the Sony Computer Entertainment Japan Asia. The Asian one. The Chinese Hong Kong one. That conference. Well, that was so crazy where they're like, here's a PS4 Pro. It does games better. Ladies! And they just come out holding it and everyone takes photos and then they're like, stop. On it, you're going to be able to play these games. Ladies! It's like every 5 minutes.
It was amazing.
And you're just like...
The whole thing only lasted like 10 minutes.
Right?
There was confetti. Anyway.
Oh yeah, they did the strobe light and brought the thing up slowly, and it's like, it looks like this. You all knew this hours ago. Pretty cool strobe light, though. Am I right? But yeah, let's get back to the Switch.
Let's do it.
So the possible ports. We already mentioned Star Fox Zero and how that's not a good game.
Right.
But it could maybe become one if Nintendo realized they shouldn't have done to Platinum what they did.
Yeah.
Like, get Miyamoto out of there. That was his fault.
It was.
110%.
Almost certainly.
We delayed Star Fox to work on the story. This story?
Do you see what you put in here? Oh man, they have to wholly remove those levels with the gyrocopter. Those
good.
Those were.
I mean,
the
really.
worst.
I mean, they could probably do it if they just made it like fun. Like the idea, broad strokes of what's there isn't that bad. It's just that it felt terrible.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fun.
I mean, the key mechanic to that one was
being able to see the screen. You're right.
Yeah, you land Rob the robot and drive him around and on the tablet.
Well, see,
and
you don't have to have because
that
other perspective's fucking useless when you're doing that anyways.
Yeah.
That's why the Wii U is a dumb concept.
It's true. Yeah.
You could fix it if you fixed it. But the other ones, very likely. I think this first one's very likely. Second,
Probably
but
not.
the first one, Bayonetta 1 and 2.
Yeah, I could see him doing it. And
yeah.
I'm always in support of Bayonetta getting to hardware that might be able to run it.
Just so we're clear, because not everyone knows about how Bayonetta has done over the years, and journalists are idiots who don't pay attention to this stuff.
Right.
Digital Foundry is a godsend, by the way. In any case, Bayonetta's never run well on anything ever. Like, what's the peak? 47 frames per second average?
Probably.
In a game
the
that's...
360 version is...
That's timing reaction based?
It's not a pretty picture.
Yeah, no, it's bad. It drops a frame, ignores your input, and then you get hit. Yep. All the time. Constantly. And then dance on the inside of the room as you go...
Yes. Because it, of course, tries to test you by showing more enemies. And then it just makes it run even worse.
Yeah. That's a Mighty Number 9-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And it's part of why...
We need a PC port, or we need a Switch port.
Or we need Capcom to make Devil May Cry 5.
I feel like they're doing it even if we don't need it. I keep thinking back to Devil May Cry 3, right?
Yeah.
How do you top it?
It's super tough. Yeah, it's basically, it's near impossible. Because that is probably the best game ever made.
There you go. Remember when the third entries in series were really good?
Yeah, when series weren't designed as trilogies. That's when that happened.
Yeah. Well, to be fair...
What?
I'm about to say something that's true in one case and false in another, and I'm going to love pissing people off with the second one. First one. You know, the second game was always shit out. Like, you look at Devil May Cry 1, it was, like, great, and then 2 was total shit. So
right.
3 was really the second real try, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same for Mega Man. So moving on. We got Wonderful 101. It'd be in Nintendo's best interest to fucking bury that. But
right,
that game could be good if not for like all the drawing stuff that gets a little weird. Like you could make a tighter, better game out of it.
The way that they even recommend playing it is the second analog stick way of transforming, which feels bad.
Yeah,
but that's the Switch is totally equipped to do that.
I haven't played this much.
Right.
I played 2-player with you and went, this game's dumb. Isn't there a button, one button that's free on that controller where you could hold it and then the face buttons would become a mode you transform into?
They could probably do that.
How many transformations, how many forms
there are a lot. There are stupid amounts. Like sword, fist, whip, bomb, claws, hammer.
I see we're getting every fetish of communists.
Yes. It has like everything.
Okay.
So that's why there is a more easy system.
Well, that's only 5.
That's 6.
6? Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you skipped your thumb for some reason. Yeah, I guess then, like, say you're forgetting 2, right? Make it 8. Then you can make 2 buttons.
Gun.
Yeah. Make 2 buttons. Like, R1 does these, R2 does these.
Yeah.
They're probably enough free buttons.
There should be a workaround. It's all something like that.
I just feel that the stick is clumsy, and you know what that should be used for? The fucking camera.
Yeah, but
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a good game.
We're not game designers, but we should be. Listen here, idiots.
God, reading about the creation of Wonderful 101 is just like, Jesus, of course.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean,
there's so many points of like, well, I don't. He kept adding things, and eventually he got to the point where, okay, I don't think this is fun. And then he adds like one more mechanic. It's like, I guess this is fun now. It's like, okay, this seems like it was really botched together and just basically thrown out there and be like, okay, we got it done. We got something that's enjoyable.
That's unfortunate. I remember you mentioned that it was originally going to be Nintendo characters, and I feel like the large crux of that game was that.
Yeah, it felt character. Yeah,
yeah,
it felt like it could have used something like that.
Yeah, where like it would be a Kingdom Hearts sort of thing, but for Nintendo, where it's just like, oh, it's this mashup of a bunch of Nintendo characters, and they're meeting, and you know, we're going to write funny lines for Mario to say to Bowser, and Bowser to say to Link.
Right, and
now instead we invented a bunch of Sentais.
Which, honestly, the story is the best part of that game.
Right.
Like, easily.
Oh, that's not hard.
I think it's really funny. Like,
yeah, everything I experienced, I was like, I wish this wasn't in this game, so I could experience it all in a pleasant manner.
Yes. So maybe we should move on.
I'll allow it. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about the hardware and a bunch of questions that this trailer, brings up that not a lot of people are asking. And every time I say that, people are like, oh man, this guy is really, really confident. And it's like, no, I looked. Not a lot of people are asking this, not even in the threads. And I think these are questions we should be asking.
We didn't do Hyrule Warriors, but that's fine.
Oh, why did you? I
you
was should have brought up Hyrule Warriors.
I said I was saying move on to War for 101, and you just went and ended it.
I can't remember how is there a decent pause after you say we should move on?
I don't
Whatever, we're about to do a harsh edit.
Okay.
Bob, you know what game we almost forgot? Yes, you do, because I forgot. So, what was that game where I almost forgot?
Hyrule Warriors.
This is why we take notes. Hyrule Warriors.
Yep. I mean, it's obvious. That one,
yeah.
Like, it could run with a better frame rate.
Mm-hmm.
It could have all that stuff they did as DLC, because there's just a massive amount of stuff they've done with that.
Oh, yeah, there are a ton of characters.
Having a special edition of that would be huge.
Yeah, they could just roll those characters back in to the core game and sell it again.
I mean, they even did all that stuff with the 3DS version where they add more characters. And yeah.
And it only runs well on some of the systems.
Yeah. And they strangely didn't... They let you get the characters on the Wii U version, but not the new story missions.
There you go.
Yeah.
They fabricated a need, and now they're going to supply it. They fabricated a demand. You're like, I'm a console player, Nintendo. Give me these stores. And they're like, oh, sorry, we can't.
And also there's new fairy mechanics, which I'm sure are very important.
What? What fairy mechanics?
There's something where you can customize a fairy that's always with you. It's weird. I don't know what it's about.
Okay.
But it's there.
That seems a little dumb.
Probably.
But, oh well. That game being on more consoles is something I'm for. It looks like a really great game. I was like, I think that's cool, but I would prefer this Dragon Quest Heroes. And then, like, you're like, it's not that good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh. Do you own that game?
I traded it in.
Okay, you traded it in.
It was probably the worst Dynasty Warriors spin-off I've played. Not mainline Dynasty Warriors, yeah.
But, like, worse than Fist of the North Star?
Okay. Sorry, I forgot. Look.
Because every time I think...
I forget about Fist of North Star, Fist of North Star 2, which is way worse. Which is crazy.
Yeah, that's You saw that reaction. That was genuine. I was like, how? I was there for that quick play. It was not that bad. Fuck.
The weird thing about the Dragon Quest one is it too quickly devolves into, oh, well, you're going to be defending points. And it's a very small area, you're just defending this point.
Oh.
And that doesn't feel like Dynasty Warriors. That feels bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
One more game, I just remembered, basically did leak. Oh, man.
Like a year ago.
Yeah.
If it's the one I'm thinking of. What is it?
I just had a tip of my tongue.
Whatever. In any case, I'll give you a second to think of that. Definitely going to happen, but we're putting it in possible ports because I forgot to mention it earlier, and we didn't write this down. Next Dragon Quest.
That's it. Yeah.
They're like, it's coming out on the NX, and they're like, Yuji Horii, you can't leak that. He just leaked that. He's like, what? I never leaked that. I'm Yuji Horii. I'm not a weird nationalist who denies the war crimes of Japan at all. Please buy my game.
That's not Yuji Horii. That's the composer for the Dragon Quest games.
Whatever. Dragon Quest is tainted. Move on. Bob, we need to talk about something else. Is that the one game you remembered at the beginning of this where you were like, okay, I'm just making sure before we move on this time. Don't want to make the same mistake, which causes a harsh edit. Let's move on to talk about the hardware. Now, Bob, what most people don't realize about the hardware is that it's really comfortable and fits on your head. It's just so svelte and immersive. I'm really liking this Nintendo Switch.
Dan, I have bad news.
What?
I don't think that's a Nintendo Switch.
It's not. What piece of shit did I buy for $400 now? Just so we're clear, PlayStation VR is pretty cool, like I expected in the earlier Rantas go. Like, it's really neat. I feel bad we haven't covered it, but to be honest, I haven't bought that many games. So it'd be like, here's Thumper. And Playroom VR. Honestly, Playroom VR is awesome.
Yeah, Playroom VR seems to be the best game on there.
Yeah, we were losing our shit, laughing our asses off playing Playroom VR the night that PlayStation VR came out. And that game's free. It comes with it. It installs it the moment you stick it into the system.
Pretty cool.
That demo disc is bad. Like, that demo disc is messing up the tracking for all the games, and then the games don't seem that great with the tracking, some of them, in and of themselves. Rigs seemed fine. That was fun. Whatever. In any case, we're here to do the Nintendo Switch. Bob, do you think you'll make the Switch?
Yes. I mean...
Bob, did you know the Nintendo Switch is a console/portable?
I didn't notice.
So what they show off, one of the first things we should talk about is the dock.
Yes.
So the Nintendo Switch itself is some sort of tablet-looking thing that can, like, slot controllers onto the side of it. Very svelte looking, all of this. But when it goes into the dock, it's actually like a U. And it just goes in and it blocks the screen, and it's actually pretty neat. Like, way cooler than I expected a dock for this thing to look.
Right. Like they knew to orient it vertically so it doesn't take much room, and it seems like a lot of smart design decisions went into making that dual dock.
Or everything, really.
Yeah.
Like, it's really brilliantly made. It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, it doesn't really, like, immediately look like a Nintendo product.
Right. Exactly. So even if this leaked early and didn't have, like, Nintendo games in it, you could have been like, oh, that's clearly not it. That's some Chinese thing or some, like, high-end, I don't know, like, Nexus product.
I like that it's entirely not like that thing that people made a fake version of.
I can't even remember what those looked like.
They were stupid.
Yeah.
It was like a very narrow oval.
Yeah, it was kind of almost Vita-esque.
Yeah, but like
cases.
more thin. Like, yeah, more like a rearview mirror.
Yeah. That's clearly a better design. Interesting thing about the dock. The only thing they've shown, other than it just fully blocks the front of the screen, which is great.
Right.
Because, like...
Yeah, you don't want another screen sitting there.
Yeah. Aesthetically, it's not... Yeah. Aesthetically, it's cool to block the screen and be like, I no longer need your attention. But it also blocks the screen from being hit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, which is cool. Because if you have that thing vertically docked, you kind of don't want that. Now, what's interesting about that is, like, it's now in between two layers of plastic, and it's like, okay, that brings up thermal concerns. But the interesting thing about the Switch, from the looks of it, it's actively cooled, which is why it has exhaust ports on the top.
Right. I have to wonder if that'll be loud.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. I mean, all of this is so svelte that if it is loud... Okay, so I guess we're getting into this now. I imagine it's only going to use those, or probably kick them up a decent bit when it's docked. Because it's probably going to have two thermal modes. One for being used as a portable, where it's not as powered up because the screen might be low res on the portable. And then one mode when it's docked. And it's like, okay, we can overclock because we have a direct draw of power.
Right.
Because you can't draw from batteries that fast. At least you can't if you don't want a Samsung Note 7 scenario. Ooh. Want to play Mario? No! Hands on fire.
Oh, that would be terrible.
Yeah, it would. You'd be the worst. I'd be so sad. Be like, oh, this isn't terrible. I melted off my hands and now I get to sue Nintendo for millions.
Oh, I'm so sad.
I'm so sad. I can't be a filmmaker without my thumbprint. In any case, so yeah, the dock is there. 2 mystery ports on that.
Yeah.
That goes in our questions section, though.
Oh, yeah?
So we're going to talk about the rest of the hardware real quick.
Okay, sure.
The Joy-Cons are what they call the things that slot into the side. Now, the interesting thing about that is I've been hearing people bring up the possibility of, like, extra Joy-Cons. What?
No, nothing.
You were giving
I was just looking at what was on the list.
Yeah, I jumped from the first thing to last thing because we were talking about the dock, and I figured, in any case, the Joy-Cons, like, you know, you got your stick and buttons instead of a D-pad.
Right.
And then buttons and another stick on the other side. So that way you can separate them, and each player has buttons and a stick. So that way you can do 2 players on one system. Which is pretty brilliant, because Mario Kart doesn't need...
Yeah, like, you have to make a game that doesn't need a whole bunch of buttons to use that, but it's...
And technically it also has 2 shoulder buttons.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it has the shoulder buttons that would go
that
up there.
just means that one person would have them on your left hand, one person on the right hand.
Yeah, that'd be 2. Because there's 4
Yeah, no, I'm saying...
system. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, in a multiplayer experience, one person literally has to get used to having them on the left, and the other has to get used to having them on the right.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
a
a
weird.
thing they've ended up doing.
Yes.
I'm not sure how you're like, oh, I'm using the stick. Right?
Yeah, it doesn't...
But that's the thing now,
Right.
I guess. Maybe it's the horn
I mean, it's like...
in Mario Kart. That's an important button.
It's like the compromises they make when using the Wii remote on its side to play Mario Kart and to play
Look,
Smash Brothers.
all of your socialist fucking hipster friends can buy their own damn controller if they're that concerned. I was at Whole Foods the other day. Man, a controller, that's expensive. Sorry, I feel like I blacked out for a bit there. It only connected the 2 statements that made you an idiot. In any case. Yeah, so that's Joy-Con. People are bringing up the possibility of other Joy-Cons to attach to it. Like, it'd be really neat if, like you were saying, you could attach a whole new one on the left that was just a giant-ass awesome D-pad.
Yeah, no, if they had something like that for the thought of 2D games, just that'd be great.
It'd be brilliant. And that seems like a really Nintendo thing to do after the Wii. Because the Wii was that. Here's your classic controller. Here's your classic controller Pro. Here's your nunchuck and your Wiimote.
They have so much,
and your balance board.
And it was so... None of it was good. None of it was great.
No, my major problem is with the classic controller.
Yeah.
That was garbage.
It was.
That was unacceptable trash. Everything else, whatever. Like, I can't think of anything else that was super bad.
I mean, even the nunchuck felt kind of cheap. Like,
the cable length was bad.
It was.
I'll give you that.
And
Because it was like... I guess I can just perfectly sit them down like this. Because it wasn't long enough to, like, get any, like, your natural arm's length.
Yeah, definitely not that, but I mean, you could like that far at least. That far?
No.
Yeah, totally.
No.
Yeah,
you go pick them up. We'll go pick them up.
You go pick
You go You gonna fucking say something. I'm gonna play the proven card. That's what I'm gonna fucking do. It's a video for a reason. I comfortably always hold these the opposite direction. I just love holding my hands up like, why? Why, God, have I bought this?
Did my nunchuck disappear?
I ate them.
Just so you couldn't be disproven.
Yep. You probably buried them because they're for the fucking Wii.
I heard one.
Oh, you found one?
Found one.
Okay, cool. Now we just need a Wiimote.
I have those in.
Oh, that's good because you're gonna use them a lot. And
Yeah.
that's gonna happen.
Did you bring a toothbrush?
Yeah.
Good. You won't be needed.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
We're gonna prove this.
Yeah, look at this.
Live.
Look, that's like twice as long as I said.
Okay, wait. I can't yawn. This is unusable garbage. Like, I guess I can. Wait.
You could be a slob.
I could be slow slightly. It hangs off my lap. You know, it almost holds up my arms for me, so I don't even have to do that anymore.
But yeah,
man, this thumbstick is so fucking gross.
Yeah, it was disgusting. It was
gonna like get you with it, because I had to touch it. Now you do too. They made the D-pad out of like some yellowing plastic.
Yeah, they did.
Classic. But the buttons for the numbers and the home button are all fine because they're glossy.
Yep.
In case, hey Bob.
Hey.
You proved me wrong.
But it looks like with the Joy-Cons, you can have a configuration kind of like the Wii Remote where you have just the two devices in separate hands, like it's not connected to anything. And
you can go full slob mode.
Yeah.
Where you just like you're like.
I feel like that wouldn't be preferable for me because you can't get as good a grip on or some of the buttons and it.
I feel like that's always the case with separate controllers. Like it's a comfort over like competitive,
right?
You know, that sort of thing. Because like I'm gonna be using the armrest of a couch or whatever with the right one. Like I'm all like, if they're wireless or even that much slack, I don't want to be like. I mean, there's no pointing anymore, right? Because there's no Wiimote sort of thing that they've shown off.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything to indicate that there were motion controls.
Just break it off. Yeah. Break off the past. Make a new path because both of your systems are bombing.
Yeah, no, they really need to get away from that stuff. Like,
hard.
I mean, I sell those things.
Bob works at a game store. He's gonna learn you something today, Bob.
People are intimidated by how much just random little junk there is that's leftovers from 2 generations.
Let me translate. People are fucking stupid cowards. They're afraid to buy every useless piece of shit ever. There are 4 versions of the portable that's currently on the market. Sorry, 5 versions of the portable that's currently on the market. And even with people double and triple dipping, Nintendo hasn't hit anywhere near, like, what was it, the PSP? Because they're 50 million or 58 million, the PSP's 80 million. Admittedly, the PSP probably got those sales because of piracy, but
right.
You know,
but let's ignore that.
And no one double dipped on the PSP. PSP Go earned a lot of new users, definitely.
Yes.
One
thing we didn't put on here is the actual controller that you can attach the 2 sides.
The Joy-Con connector?
The Joy-Con connector.
The Joy-Con connector allows you to connect them, and it gives extended, like, wristy, nice rests.
Yeah, like grips.
Like a controller. And you just, and it tells you either what player it's synced to or what the battery's at, because there are two sets of 4 lights on the left and right side, and they both read as the top one, but the bottom 3 on both sides weren't filled in. This was probably player.
Yeah,
because like who shows off a video for a product where it's like.
Yeah, it's probably the player was showing there, and I would imagine that also shows the battery life. Like, that's how that sort of system works on the Wii and Wii U.
When would it do it, though?
You'd, like, hit the home button or something like that. Or when you first sync it up, it'll light up the 3, and then it'll be located by your player 1. But just so you know, you're running out of
Works at a game store. I'm just saying, like, a lot of these journalists haven't communicated with a normal human being about this shit.
It's true.
Anytime recently. Most of them don't even know this shit. We should take all the game journalists, throw them in a shuttle, and shoot them off to the moon.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm not pandering to an audience that deeply loathes game journalists. I'm pandering to me. But no, like, the great thing is, like, somebody's watching this video, somebody at one of these majors is thinking, oh, they bring up a good point. And then all this journalist hating, they're like, fuck you, buddy. I don't make minimum wage at Kotaku, so you can shit on me. Now I gotta get back to writing my article about how the Nintendo Switch reminds me of BDSM stuff. Hey, Bob.
The bad part is I totally believe it.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time. Anything. They'll write anything to get views.
Yeah.
Which is the difference between us and most YouTubers and fucking journalists. We've never made a thing just to get views, right? We've never, like, we should make this thing because it'll get us a lot of views. Like, we never once did that. It's always been a genuine place of like, what do we want to see in the world? Let's make that.
I think we've considered making things CFUs before that just never ended up finishing. Like we lost motivation to do it.
This is gross and I want to vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when we did top 8s and they were really fucking weird?
Yes. I think
Danger Rap.
Those started normal. At some point, like
Yeah.
early in the writing process, that was a wholly normal thing, and then it changed.
Yeah, because it was like a top 8 list isn't enough for me. Because like there are countless YouTube channels churning out top 8s constantly.
There are.
It needs to be something with an actual structure. Watch Mojo.
Not just Watch Mojo.
Okay.
Other things I've seen recently
countless.
from like
Countless.
what Screw Attack has become. Like they started they were one of the first ones into the top list, and oh my god, they're just getting worse.
Yeah.
Somehow. I thought they were already at the bottom when I last watched them when they were on game trailers.
Bane comes back and it's like, Batman, you seem to have dug in yourself deeper. What the fuck? I thought you were gonna climb out, man. And then I would be in the city and I would be like, oh, I have a nuke, and you would have to fight me, and my goons would look at you, do this, and then leap away, and you didn't hit them at all, and it looks really fake and gay, but no one will notice because everyone's morons, Batman. By the way, our new thing for you, I shit you not, this was actually, this wasn't like a strategy thing, this was a realization behind the scenes. I'm like, hey, Bob, we're never going to be popular. Let's toss shade. I think we had that conversation a couple of weeks ago.
Probably.
I was like, fuck it, we're not going to be popular. Let's shit on everybody. What were we talking about before?
We were talking about the controller grip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how it's cool, the Joy-Con connector. There's also a Pro controller they show off in this. And it has a very interesting design. It almost looks like one of those industrial designs before it's finished, where it's the semi-transparent, but you can see the structure of the plastic. But then somebody brought up that that's kind of similar to the N64 controller look, how some of them were that transparent plastic where you could see the structure inside. And I was like, if they were doing that, they would be the most fucking insanely on top of it they have ever been. It would be like, we've got your number and your email. And I'm like, shit. I guess I'll buy it too late because we have your debit card.
Oh, right. There is that other button, the mystery button that's on the controller.
Yeah, there is a button with a circle on it. We were supposed to do a little bit of research to see exactly what leaks talked about the streaming and recording abilities of this device that were rumored. Because I know I read that from a reputable source, but it was a while ago, so I don't remember how it came about. In any case, there is a circle button, like a square button with a circle on it in the lower left corner of these controllers.
Yeah. Yeah, like basically parallel to the home button.
Home button is in the lower right, and the circle button is in the lower left. And, you know, what were you saying it could be?
I was saying it could be the power button. Like,
yeah, because Nintendo things, well, at least the Wii and Wii U have power buttons on the controllers.
Mm-hmm. Which, you know, you don't really need because we've seen like how PlayStation and Xbox deal with that just using the home button.
Yes.
That works.
Power button's pretty cool.
Power button.
Because you press and hold the power button, it's going to turn the fucker off.
It's true. Where this is actually a portable, I'd like the power button to actually be on the device itself, though, I would think.
Like a physical switch on the top?
Yeah, instead of on the Joy-Cons.
But then how do you turn it off when it's in console mode? You press and hold the home button, and then something pops up that's hopefully like, hey.
Yeah, and if it's on the top of the system, then if you're walking up to turn it off, you could do it on the top, too.
Like I'm just some plebeian from 2004.
Look, we know the consoles need buttons to turn off. We've been in those situations where they won't turn off right.
That's what the power cable's for.
As much as the power couple around here likes turning my PS4 off at random, I don't.
Yeah, I noticed that. I started keeping my PS4 here last year, and Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It bitches about being... The power's turned off illegitimately, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, Bob has anger problems. He's just over there, I'm plugging it rapidly.
Yeah, so I need to stop putting my system in rest mode because,
because fuck these guys, right? Yeah. You know, I heard a rumor that the PlayStation VR tracking can be made worse by keeping it in rest mode. The PS4. Right?
Great.
Flawless launch.
We need that extra RAM that's hitting the PS4 Pro.
So that way it can track the PSVR.
That's right.
And I can just spend $800 more on basically the same games. So when I realized what the NX would be,
Mhm.
And I may have made this point in podcast at some point, who the fuck who's jazzed to spend $400 on a PlayStation Pro, PS4 Neo at that point,
Right.
when the Switch is out? Like we know what the Switch is. We might even know the price by the time the PS4 Pro drops. I'm not sure. I think they're going to hold that close to their chest so that way they have these Nintendo fans that are fucking gullible who don't realize it may be expensive.
Yeah.
Play it close to the chest, wait until, and then just be like, oh, it's more expensive than the PS4 Pro. Whoops, sorry guys, but hey, it's fucking incredible. But we'll talk about the price later.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. Let's talk about the screen mount. That was
Oh,
the
yeah,
most
yeah, that-
bizarre hardware I've seen in this whole thing.
Right?
It was just like, hey, check out these hipsters in this car. Now, watch this. They attach it to the back of the thing with the chair. You know how in a car the seat has a headrest and it's got these mounting brackets. They just got a thing and then they slide that screen in, and it's like, wow, that screen's tiny.
Yeah.
That was the one thing where you had a frame of reference and you're like, this shit's tiny. Jesus Christ, those kids at the basketball court are just like,
Yeah.
that thing has to be smaller than my iPad.
Oh yeah,
Mini.
way smaller. Like it's probably like 2/3 that size. That'd be my guess.
It better be. Otherwise, it's a really small screen. Any smaller than 2/3 and shit, man.
Yeah,
Ain't nobody playing 4-player Smash Bros. On that.
it's true. That's why you bring a monitor.
Right. To work. Obviously.
I mean,
it's my lunch break. Time to construct my gaming rig. And
Look.
to get that bitch back who would not stop blaring her goddamn cell phone on my lunch breaks, I'm blaring this fucking game console. And that is infinitely more annoying than her screaming baby videos.
nothing more
Explosions and electricity and all these video games. Like, because when you're a gamer, you're used to deciphering the madness that is games.
Right. I'm sorry, that it takes a lot to beat Crying Baby. Like,
I'll play an NES game. Because to
Okay.
most people, that is nails on a chalkboard.
it's true.
Like, for some reason, chiptune really grates on some people.
Yeah, like
But
I know that
Fuck
definitely
you.
my parents' generation, like that seems to be the ones that it's really bad with. But
which is really strange because, like, keyboards from that time sounded like the Amiga. Admittedly, the NES has a harsher sound than the Amiga. Or the Commodore 64. The Commodore 64 is what I'm thinking of. Either way, you know, they're both computer consoles from that time. Which have that sound. Like,
Right.
it's not a sampled sound. It's a synthesizer. I don't know.
yeah,
Just, that's the way it is. That's just the way it is. Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do.
yeah. I know my parents are probably older than that, so they were.
I mean,
more
they were
into-
older than that, but that was the music when they were like 20, 30. Born in the 60s, maybe 20, 30 in the 80s.
I guess.
Yeah.
It just seems like they were always fans of really older stuff like Elvis and that sort of thing.
Fucking hippies. I was like, oh, you're listening to the Beatles? I'm like, yeah, I'm listening to Maxwell's Silver Hammer. And she's like, that song is fucked up. You cut that out. And I'm like, it's about beating in heads. And she's like, what? No, it isn't. She didn't know. She didn't know Maxwell's Silver Hammer. Never listened to the lyrics close enough to realize the song was about stalking classmates and beating them to death with a hammer. And then she's like, that is a dark song. And I'm like, yeah, isn't it great? And she's like, no. This is the same woman when the Scooby-Doo live-action movie went, talk about Toasted Scoob. She was like, that's not a weed reference. You two are demented. Me and my brother are like, some small factoids about the Switch that we know that are pretty interesting. This first one, the least interesting in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely not that interesting.
The game card faces towards you when you put it in. Bob wrote this note.
Yeah, I think that's super weird because that's the opposite of every other Nintendo portable.
Check this out. They have been doing it wrong this whole time. You want the game to face towards you when you put it in the slot. And if you need to flip around your fucking DS to find the slot, you're mentally retarded. The Vita did it right. That was maybe the one thing it did right. I noticed the game cards are thicker.
Yeah, that's good. I don't like the thinness of the Vita carts. Like,
No,
That's-
it's supposed to feel future, and it does. But at the same time, it doesn't feel valuable.
it doesn't. It feels fragile.
Yeah.
It gets to that thinness of where it doesn't feel like
It doesn't feel
solid.
as fragile as a micro memory stick Pro Duo.
No, it doesn't.
No.
But because that's like the most fragile. That's like, oh, here's a floppy disk from the 80s.
Oh, cool. Let me just grab it with this glove to protect it with tiny pillows on the fingers. That's how they did it in the 80s. You just weren't there. But yeah, I like that it has more heft because these games might cost $60. They probably will.
Yeah, probably.
And it's
I think
like
it'd be
$60
I'd be surprised if they wouldn't.
Me too. Because it's the Wii U sort of look, right?
Uh-huh.
But on a cartridge, so it costs more.
Right.
You know how they're going to make those margins a lot better? By re-releasing the same shit on this console. Get some great margins out of that.
It's true.
Plus, they're going to get, hopefully, all of the following that they have on the portables and the consoles all together to buy these games.
Yeah, it'd be great to see, like, I want to see Nintendo succeed a lot with this.
Me
like,
too, because
this seems like a great idea.
As we talk about frequently, Microsoft and Sony really shed it up when it comes to making quality software.
They do.
Sony's been doing a really good job this gen. I'm not doing that. Though, the moment they get a game that doesn't look like unbelievably godlike, you know, like that one thing where it's the horror game and they've just made an on-rail shooter, Rush of Blood.
Yeah.
What's the original game's name?
Dawn of
Sorrow.
Yes.
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn.
Yes. Until Dawn clearly didn't look as good as Infamous Second Son.
Right.
It didn't look like Uncharted. It didn't look like any of Sony's exclusives this gen, except for maybe Bloodborne, because it's a little rough. Good old frame pacing.
Just a little. It's fine.
I would know. I platinumed it. Well, you're also blind. Digs at Eric in the podcast. You can't point out we're doing digs at you. He's not going to watch this far. He's not in it. I want to see him in the comments. I do. That's why I do that every time. I'm testing you, Eric. Do you love me?
Wow. Okay.
That's how I test if people love me. My mom doesn't love me. She doesn't watch this far. He said a bad word. I'm turning this off. That's what she's like. That's why you need to support me. My mother won't. How unusual for a 30-year-old man. So in any case, DNA, D-E-N-A, or Dana, or Laura.
Yes, I like Dana just from the final bossman.
I forgot that he did that.
Yeah, it was good.
So in any case, DNA is doing the OS in the games, like they mentioned before, or at least they're doing the OS. They might possibly also be bringing their mobile games over to this.
Right.
That's a real question. But
who knows?
They're listed on the game publishers that are involved with the Switch.
But I mean, so are lots of things like Unity.
Yeah, but that
You know.
yeah, exactly. So like that's not a game publisher per se.
Yeah,
It's an engine.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Right,
that's why.
right.
Right.
That is what you're saying. That's what he's saying. Bob, is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
We now became that thing I made. Let me rephrase that. We've now become that video that I was involved with.
There you go.
There we go. So, NVIDIA invented a whole new API and a suite of software, kind of like their GameWorks stuff, that's like super optimized for their chip in this thing called NVN.
Okay.
So when you think about APIs, generally the two that matter, three. Let's go with three. So OpenGL, that's old school open standards, like PlayStation 4 uses it, PlayStation 3 uses it, PSP uses it. They usually use a special fork of it designed for PlayStation, but it's still OpenGL basically. DirectX, which is Microsoft, it shows up on only Microsoft stuff. And then this third one, which is a newer one called Vulkan, which is OpenGL finally like being like, okay, fuck this old standard. Here's a new standard that's way better. It's also open standard, can work on anything, but it's leaner and meaner, and it can do things a billion times better. Well, as it turns out, NVIDIA's maybe not designed their architecture the best for Vulkan or DirectX, the new one, which is aping Vulkan.
Okay.
So it makes perfect sense that they would design a very custom API for their very custom hardware in this Nintendo Portable. And they're like, hey guys, you want to get the best out of this thing? Use the NVN API, which is apparently there was an NV API. This is the NVN, NVIDIA Nintendo API.
That's kind of cool.
It is cool. I love that. That's a great thing. Because as it turns out, this whole thing, you know, NVIDIA used to be in console hardware. They were in the original Xbox. They were in the PS3. And until now, they were in nothing. And from what we're hearing, It's both a combination of every Tegra product, you know, all their Shield tablets and like you know, smartphone tablets and Shield gaming tablets and Shield consoles failing just miserably.
Even that 4K one.
Between, yeah, the new one, which was just called the Shield again.
Right.
Idiots. Wonder what it didn't do well. All of those failing, combined with the fact that NVIDIA was in none of the stuff. And NVIDIA, these games are getting optimized for AMD. You know, Rise of the Tomb Raider is optimized for AMD. It gets some serious gains under Vulkan that you just don't fucking see on NVIDIA. It gets serious, like, performance advantages for the hardware that is on these video cards that you don't see on NVIDIA stuff. And that just pisses them off. No doubt. They're fucking surly about that. Because they could be looking even better. They could have crushed AMD into a fucking fine powder and snorted it by now. But these fucking games optimized for AMD architectures, that's pissing them off. And the Tegra shit not selling, even though they invest, they're like, our hardware's the fucking best. Look at this 360 quality game running on your tablet. And this was years ago.
Right.
Like, their most recent thing ran games way better than fucking PS3 and 360. Way better. Like, we're talking like, oh, that was 720p and it was 30. Well, on the fucking Shield, when it was optimized for it, it was 60 and 1080p. That's not twice as good. That's a lot better than twice as good. And that was on the old Tegra shit. So all these things combined, and NVIDIA's like coming to Nintendo and they're like, look, we made this Tegra thing. It's really incredible. Do you have a use for this? You like low power hardware. And Nintendo's like, well, what if it was a console and a portable? And they're like, ¿Por qué no los dos? And that's how we got the soft taco, hard taco that is the Nintendo Switch. I love that though, because NVIDIA fucked it up every time. Did you know that?
No, I
they
mean,
fucked it with the original Xbox because they price gouged Microsoft. Microsoft was like, yeah, sure, design the whole thing. We'll pay you this much. And then they realized, oh shit, that costs a lot.
Right.
So then they went with AMD. Sony's like, you can design the video card. We need you to do a good one. They're like, we're going to serve you real nice. And then it comes out a year later with a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah.
The weakest...
It's RSS. It's amazing.
It's RSS is a reality synthesizer chip. With an X. RSX. I can spell. NVIDIA can spell. Sony can spell. I imagine that's probably more Sony than NVIDIA. Probably. I don't know. But in any case... them coming out and being like, we have this really high-end hardware. They confirmed that it is based on the Pascal architecture, which is the latest GPUs from NVIDIA.
Okay.
So it's some of that fancy shit. It's not old Tegra shit. It's fancy shit.
I mean, like,
so this is
the 1080s and stuff that are coming out of them, like that.
I mean, the laptop stuff too.
Yeah, that stuff that's the best games we've seen in mobile gaming ever.
Yeah, like you're talking like a 1060 in a laptop can outperform a PS4 by a huge margin. Huge. That's crazy. And they're going to take that tech to the fucking Tegra and then make that into a Nintendo thing with a custom API to get even more out of it. I am 100% convinced when people see the Nintendo games running on this, it's going to blow their fucking mind. Skyrim will look like shit. It'll run like shit. But it's Skyrim. That's what people are used to.
Do.
That's what it does.
That's what they want it.
That's what it does best. You better not move too many objects, fuckers. You picked up how many items? You put them back down? Oh, God. Oh. 3 frames per second.
You want to drop some cheese? I don't think so.
Not today, fucker. Wouldn't it be hilarious if on consoles there was a way to access the console, command console?
That would be great.
That'd be hilarious. Spawn a billion cheeses. Okay, there we go. Brick my Switch. Now I could return it to Walmart. Yeah, this thing doesn't work. Okay, why is that? It makes me motion sick. Sir, you said that 4 months ago for your fucking virtual reality. We're not going to take that excuse twice. It made me gay. What'd you buy for it? A Sonic game. Oh, fuck, he's probably right. Okay, we'll take it back.
Oh, man. Do you think Sonic Mania is going to be on there?
I don't know if Sonic Mania is. Sega hasn't yet announced. But they said the fucking...
Yeah, they said
this 2017 game was going to be on there. I know which one I would prefer. Right. God damn it. Sonic Mania is dope as fuck.
Yeah, I couldn't see them just not doing that. That's already in the launch window for when Switch is coming out.
Yeah. It'd make a killer launch title.
It would be great.
It would be great. You know what else would be great?
What's that?
us bringing up the mystery questions that we need to discuss this about the NX. And we'll do so right after this break. Hi, I'm Dan from GigaBoots. This is Bob.
Hey.
Hi, Bob.
Hey, Dan. Everything okay?
Yeah. This is my review of the Switch. So we have a lot of important questions to ask about the Switch, having seen that video. I'm sure everyone has questions, but we have the important ones.
I'm surprised to communicate so much information in a tiny 3-minute video, honestly. Like, that's Nintendo on point for once.
Yeah. Everyone seems upset that they're not immediately talking more about it, and I'm like, honestly, they told us way more than I expected, because if they waited this late...
Supposedly they aren't going to say anything more till next year. I was hoping we'd see something by the end of the year. Like, I didn't have expectation for next week or anything, but like sometime in the next 2 months.
First, we're going to start with the small stuff. The stuff that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of how fucking important this list is. You ready, Bob?
What?
Battery life.
Battery life.
This thing's going to have cutting-edge performance. The likes we've never seen on a portable, including like an Apple device. Like even the iPads and shit of the world. Because like this is a tablet grade, like a high-end super custom tablet with a Pascal architecture chip, but on a screen that's not like crazy high-res like tablets are.
Right. That'd be weird if it was that high-res.
There's 0% chance.
Right.
It's designed for TVs.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no point. So, like, it's going to have really good graphics relative to that. What does that mean for battery life?
We'll just have to see, like, how much they can get that down. Because it's a small thing. They can't put a big battery in there.
I don't have benchmarks memorized for the battery life on a tablet.
Right.
Like an
or
iPad.
an iPhone, even.
Yeah, for gaming.
Yeah.
Because that's a relevant factor here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, you can't compare it to, oh, yeah, my iPhone stays active all day.
It browses the web for 8 hours. It's like, cool. That's not... The web isn't several million triangles.
Right.
At 60 frames per second.
You have to wonder, like, are these games going to literally, like, boot into a mode, like we were talking about earlier, where you'd be less taxing, so lower res. I would even say there's a possibility of lower graphics setting style things.
So here's my theory. Call it a game theory. So...
No, I'm not going to do that.
I always give him a moment to realize what the joke is so I don't have to say it. But every time he's like, Daniel wouldn't punch me. Why would Daniel punch me? And then I punch him.
And, you know, because I don't think of that show because I'd never watched that show because I don't want to watch that show.
I can change that. I'll just hold up the phone. Do herb drinks make you healthy? I'm going to eat wheatgrass. Give me millions of views. And here we are today. Thanks, Internet. In any case, here's my theory. The screen may not be 1080p.
Right.
Now, if the screen's 720p, then that's a much lower resolution than 1080p.
Right.
So that's a much less fill rate thing. Like way lower. So you could actually have two thermal modes just adjusting for that. Like that could be the difference. Because you don't want to have two graphics settings. Now you're asking developers to make two different graphics settings for one piece of hardware, which is, like, it's already annoying enough on PC.
Right.
There it's seen as a necessity. For a console, that would be asking a lot. I mean, you heard how much devs used fucking journalists to bitch about the PS4 Pro and the Scorpio. Now imagine if that was all one platform.
They're all going to have to do it for the PS4 or for the Pro and the Scorpio.
Right, but it was a thing they were eased into at all.
Right.
It's not like, hey, our new hardware's launching. You need to make your game run in two different modes.
Of course, it's Miyamoto that's just like choking them.
Yeah?
Yeah.
They ain't listen to me. Pull out the ghost of Iwata. It's just a fucking giant, like, dragon spirit because Iwata's a dragon.
Of course.
Yeah.
I was thinking genie, but I guess the dragon works. Why not?
I don't know. Genies aren't Japanese. Yeah.
It's true. Is he ripped?
Ripped as fuck, man.
Okay.
He's just like, I would like to talk to you. And then he says, we would like to play. And it's not funny because he's a giant ripped-ass dragon. And you're just scared.
Well, yeah.
Even if he wasn't talking to you, you'd be like... And it wouldn't be funny. And he's really disappointed by this. He's trying to be funny. So, yeah, if the screen on the portable device is 720, And the dock output's at 1080. It can ramp the voltage up somewhat and deal with the thermals better by activating the fan. And then that'll improve battery life and would actually cut the demands a lot, because most of what is intense about video games nowadays is the triangle count. It's really just fill rate. Like, almost all of it. Almost all of it's per pixel operations, which scale pretty well. Not perfectly, but pretty well with the res.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
And then that'll completely justify in my crazy brain me bringing around a monitor.
Yeah. It would need... I assume that it hooks into the dock, and the dock has the HDMI.
Right.
Yeah. So you need to have that with you, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not a practical plan.
Okay. Just making
I've
sure
already
you know.
worked through every logistic of fitting it in a backpack. It's not a good plan, but it's a plan, and I'm going to do it. Don't you judge me.
They better have a carrying case that's really dope.
With how svelte it looks, I would be surprised if it didn't. They already want to sell me some weird car seat holder thing.
Right?
That's like, shit, man.
They're
Am
like,
I just
is this
like
your selfie stick? Sure, have it.
Am I just like putting my Tesla in autopilot, crawling into the back seat and playing video games?
It doesn't have it doesn't
have a good name. Switch is dumb. It's a dumb name.
I don't...
We're tossing shade constantly. Colin
Yeah.
Moriarty's an idiot. Switch is actually a really good game. The Wii, good name. The Wii was a stupid fucking name and makes no goddamn sense, and it never made fucking sense. I remember the day they fucking announced that name, and I talked to my girlfriend about, that's fucking retarded.
Yeah, I mean, it was dumb, and we knew it. We all knew it back then.
Yeah.
It was just obviously...
But it's been 10 years, so I've convinced myself that it was always okay, because
it sold well.
I assume me from 10 years ago is identical to me now.
It has a headphone jack. Oh, there was some other thing.
A charging port?
It might have a charging port.
They haven't shown it.
Yeah.
I was going to bring that up. So, Bob,
What's up?
in order to get into the charging port, I have to bring up another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think, because ideally, as a person who makes a platform like Nintendo does,
Right.
you want that thing to be as cheap as possible.
Right.
You ready for this bombshell question that has been asked nowhere else? Does it come with the dock?
Good question.
Yeah. Because it could just be, you can buy two SKUs. One's just the portable. The other one's portable with the dock. We also sold the dock separately in case you want to upgrade later. That'll allow them to drive down the price a bit because, you know, it's a dock. It costs something.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near as cheap as just a charging station. You know, it's got to get
the HDMI signal.
and charge it and cradle in some other ways. And I'm sure there are other functions like maybe Ethernet port or it's things like that. It's something. So do you think there is a charger for this, a normal charger, and the dock? Or is the only way to charge this portable the dock? And does the dock come with it?
I hope,
Mm-hmm.
I really hope that there's a charge port on it. Like, I think it's kind of bad not to have one.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I guess it's not that inconvenient to bring a dock around.
I think it's fucking inconvenient as shit.
It is.
Because
it
it's
is
not
bad.
like a cable.
Right.
A cable's this big and can fit in a backpack really easily. This thing is like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely feels more like something that just is meant to sit in your home.
Yes. Which is why I think there's a charger cable and two different SKUs. Because Nintendo's highest priority is going to be able to get this thing as cheap as possible.
Yeah.
I think it's incredibly likely that down the road we're going to see a fixed portable version that won't have the Joy-Con functionality per se. That may just be, here's the inputs, it's what you get, and then it's cheaper to manufacture because of that.
Yeah, they do a 2DS style thing like that.
Yep,
Because
exactly.
I know that something we were talking about before it even came out, or before the info came out at all, is a version without the screen, just designed as a home console.
Right, exactly. You want to
so-
do both to make it as cheap as possible for the people who want those.
Right. And there's a certain point of that though where it becomes too many SKUs and you confuse the customer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, think of it this way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's way easier to explain than all the Nintendo shit so far. You know, this is a Nintendo Switch. Now, it's called the Switch because it can switch between being a portable and a console. But we have three versions. We have the version that switches between the two. We have the cheap console version, which you can't take on the go. You got the cheap, and you have the cheaper on-the-go version, but you can't hook it up to your TV. I feel like that messaging isn't that complicated. It's just, this is the one that sits in your home. This is the one that can go with you. This one can do both. And when the difference is like, let's say $150.
Right.
Like both those versions, somehow magically they figured out, and the Switch version is, I don't know, $150 more. That adds enough value to the console version and the portable version where they're like, okay, then I can get it for my fucking kid. Because this thing's probably going to cost a pretty penny.
Probably.
It looks very, very svelte. It has cutting edge GPU, CPU stuff. And it has its own API.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of what they're doing with the Switch is selling people on the idea of, it's called the Switch, you can do all these things with it. It can come apart. Like,
yes. Which is beautiful for us.
Right.
But we're the people who...
but I think it's like the Wii, where they want to sell you on the idea. We might see something like these other smaller parts released separately later, I think.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I think.
Years in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still don't know. I think it's within possibility that the dock may be separate at launch. Like, not intrinsically, you know, the two SKU things. Like the deluxe version of the Wii U. Where it's like, you can buy the shitty version with no storage.
If you
or get a real Wii U.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eric had forgotten that was $350.
Yeah, no, that thing is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's bad.
Yeah, it really clogged up the toilet. It was a giant turd.
God, I bought that thing for freaking Bayonetta 2 and Wonderful 101 and those games.
Those weren't announced at launch. You bought it on the faith of a good Mario game. I remember it.
It's true. Actually, the Bayonetta 2 was announced right before launch.
Was it?
In Wonderful 101, it was E3 that year of launch.
So after?
No,
launch.
before.
Okay, so both of those were announced before launch.
Yes.
But yeah, I understand where the confusion comes from if it can't switch.
Right.
But I also understand that, like, if it can chop $75 off the price.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, it would make for a cool value proposition thing. But I mean...
Because there's a reason millennials, like 20 to 30-year-olds, millennials, there's a reason millennials are featured so heavily in this product unveil. It's because they have too much money. They spend it on products to make up for the fact they're fucking miserable. Yeah, they're no kids.
It's true.
This isn't a product initially that they're aiming at kids.
Right.
That will come later. That is happening. It's just not this immediate focus. Because they're aimed at the smart consumer. Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's not a...
No Minecraft.
Market. Yeah, not Minecraft.
Skyrim. A good thing they didn't show Minecraft. It'd be like, so fucking what? We can do that on our phones. But it's real Minecraft. What is that anymore?
It's a Minecraft you can buy Mass Effect DLC, and that's what makes it real Minecraft.
Holy shit! Sign me the fuck up. And this 10-year-old serious. Yeah, I feel... Let's talk about price.
Yeah.
Let's talk about price. It's a big point with this.
Yeah, like I think they'd be crazy to go over 400. But they might. Like, I guess see them like...
Bob, the Wii U was $350.
I know. That was a mistake.
The Wii U is almost exactly what this is when you think about all of the parts necessary to give it to you. Because it's a screen, it's a self-sustaining rechargeable battery, it's all these buttons and everything, all the input I/O.
It's true.
And then there's the hardware on the Wii U side. Only it's more svelte than ever now.
Mm-hmm. 400 for the base unit, and then they'll want you to buy all the other controllers.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely going to make a killing on the custom Joy-Cons. Like, if they do that idea of like, oh, here's our cool 6-button fighter right controller and our D-pad left controller. That D-pad left controller, I'd buy it instantly.
Yeah, no. That'd be amazing.
That'd be nice. That's a nice Joy-Con you got there. It'd be terrible if something bad happened to it.
My main concern with all of this, the Wii U and the Wii U Pro controller have some issues.
Are they price issues?
No.
Because we haven't fully discussed price.
We haven't finished that.
Okay, fine. Do it.
Look,
do it. Bring it up.
The Wii U Pro controller has horrible latency problems and inconsistent latency problems. It's bad. That better not be a problem on this.
Yeah.
Like that will
Because obviously, like from as far as we can tell, there's no there's no controller ports. Definitely on the tablet version.
right.
Like there may be some on the dock. Like there are some ports in the side that seem to be controller ports because they don't look like normal USB.
Right.
Yeah, you didn't see any like controller cable outs on the controllers.
Yeah, no.
So what would you?
Yeah. Maybe they're still has to charge the Pro controller, which is weird.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a slide they can plug the middle base, the
Joy-Con connector.
Joy-Con connector.
I actually
into.
like that name. I actually like it. Yeah, I mean they got to recharge these things somehow.
Right. I mean,
Whether it's plugged into the console.
They're
or
not
the
like
wall.
slobs like Microsoft. They're not going to have us buying AA batteries.
Zing. I remember that whole gen where it's like, you guys are idiots. You buy your controllers for how much and then bought batteries? You're fucking tool bags. And they're like, did you know latency is a huge problem on PS3 controllers? And I'm like, are they gone yet? I would really hate to eat crow. That's the price you pay for good latency. Look, I'm not signing up for 8 frames. Yeah, I really hope they make good responsive controllers. It looked like the Joy-Cons plug straight into the fucker. Like, this is it's just holding the wireless. Like, it looks like they have connections on them.
Right.
And that's great. Because I would much rather send a hardware signal than even have to deal with fucking battery life on this thing attached to my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an insane proposition.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So,
But
yeah.
I guess we can go back to price, though. What do you think, Dan?
I hope to God it's 400. It's gotta be 400, right?
Right? Like
Because
that's
you go above that and you're insane.
yeah, that's when it goes into that Xbox One initial launch territory. It's like, no.
The no man's
Stop.
zone. No man's land.
Which
Yeah, you're right. Like, we've never seen a console succeed above $400.
yeah, because PS3 also had that problem.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they chopped it down and eventually got it under 400, and that's when it succeeded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
because if you remember, it was the weirdest thing. Because at the time we were like, "Oh, this makes sense," but like with a better view of the console industry, it should have really struck us as odd that 7-9 months in, they were like, "Here are new cheaper versions."
Nintendo's made this mistake twice before.
Okay.
3DS and Wii U launched too high a price.
That's
They had,
true.
like that 3DS ambassador program, all the stuff they did because they realized that was bad.
Yeah.
Like that they couldn't sell it at that price.
Unlike those, though,
Mm-hmm.
this thing looks cool, looks very svelte, and it does a thing that's completely amazing and cool.
It's true.
The 3DS, people are like, that's dumb. I don't need to see 3D. The Wii U, it's like, that's a piece of shit and no good game will ever come out on it. I'm like, hey, Smash Bros. Will be almost as good as the 3DS version. I showed him. And they might do it.
Yeah.
They might do it.
They might.
I think $400 that they have successfully sold 6 at launch to people I know. Yeah, 400. Because
Yeah.
you're getting it.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd get it. Hell, I got that thing that we did the joke with, and that offers way less value. Like VR offers way less value than the Switch.
Yeah.
I can't take my VR anywhere I go. Period. But it also doesn't play Smash Brothers.
So Nintendo was good hardware again. It's kind of crazy.
You're telling me! It's a pretty good track record here at GigaBoots of me shitting on the 3DS. In fact, there's a whole episode of the rant that's ago of me shitting on the 3DS. I don't even know if it's still on YouTube. It may have been blip only. I fucking hate that thing. It is terribly designed. The D-pad fucking squeaks and it sucks. And the circle pad is a piece of shit. No one wants to hold a stick if it requires force downwards to... It's wrong. It's wrong, and it is a blasphemy against God. I just... Fuck the 3DS, man. I just fuck the 3DS. And then it's like, I'm 3D, so you get even shittier graphics. And I'm like, I just really want a good Pilolinks. Can you just do that for me right now? I have such a headache. It's like, here's this. And I'm like, what? Why is it Wii Sports? What did you do?
It is super weird that also the last two Nintendo things have been like direct sequel consoles. Like
And
3DS
in the worst naming way possible.
Yeah, like just confusing names to do it. Like, that's crazy. They had never done that before. And they did it twice in a row.
Super NES is kind of like you sort of get that idea.
It's
N64 breaks free, GameCube breaks free, but Super NES was definitely trying to tell people this is the NES, but it's way better.
It's true. That one, I guess, is a kind of direct sequel situation.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that strat didn't work out well for them. Probably because they made terrible successors to these things.
Yeah, because they were just grabbing for something else that would also be innovative that was.
I'm fucking glad they're just fucking being done with this shit.
Yeah, I've talked to people who are upset that it's not backwards compatible. It's like, look, that stuff is all really old now. We can move on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you'll have your DS. You'll have your 3DS. You'll have those things to play those things. And it will be okay. That'll be fine.
Yeah. Because
they're Nintendo features. And they last.
Yeah.
They did too many features in too many directions, and the 3D was clearly just there's no way we can reconciliate what we've done here.
Yeah.
Hell, even the 2DS doesn't have 3D, and it's in the same generation. Yeah, I'm really glad too, because in the DS era, the two screens offered innovative gameplay. In the 3DS, though, the top screen was 3D and wider than the bottom screen, which made it not work nearly as well. The thing was much bulkier, and no one was interested in doing that same type of experience. Like, no one did no one took that idea to a whole new level, like, you know, some of the, like, Trauma Center sort of things. Where
yeah, I mean, a lot of people just avoided using the bottom screen because it wasn't the 3D one. And
exactly.
It was the worse looking one because it was smaller.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it was...
There were just so many layers of just, like... Everyone who had a brilliant idea about this probably did it last gen. And now you've made it weird for us to do anything with it. Yeah.
I remember even the Cooking Mama game was just weird.
Yep. I remember that. I was going to bring that up as an example. And I'm like, whatever. I don't need an example. Everyone knows it's true. You know why? I respect you as an audience. You know how many videos we fucking watch a day that coddles the fucking fan base? And it's like, allow me to explain this thing you should already know.
Did you know that Sega and Nintendo used to be rivals? I didn't know that. I want to tell you that because I just found that out yesterday. Breaking news here.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking news.
I forgot about that.
I can't. I don't know who it was. I'm glad.
I kind of forgot too. So I'm just...
I'm sorry, probably Super Bunny Hop. I'm just saying.
I hope to... No, there's no fucking way Super Bunny Hop was like, did you know that Nintendo and Sega used to be friends? And it's like, no, they didn't. Ever. But that's when Sega let the dogs out.
It was deep in the 90s, or as we used to call it, the 90s.
We're now Classic Gaming Room. Or GameSack doing an impersonation of that other reviewer. What was the name of that shooter they kept talking about nonstop that was kind of mediocre? Whatever. GameSack's a great channel. We like those guys because they're not pretentious and pretend to be smarter than they are. I'm not saying they're dumb guys. I'm just saying their material doesn't like offer any air of pretension. By the way, we're just gonna name this one Dan and Bob's Nintendo Switch and shit on every YouTuber but GameSack. That title will get clicks.
Maybe.
If it fit.
Right? It's like, that's like far off there in the dots.
I actually have hit the title limit once. I forget what I was going to name this thing. I think it was one of those dumb Japanese fighting games where it has like 6 subtitles.
So Melty Blood?
Yeah, it was probably Melty Blood. And I was like, type it all out. That'll be funny. And it was like, no. And I'm like,
Are you stupid? Nothing has a title that long.
Get out of here, moron. Sorry. I'm kind of interested, like, we were talking about using a Joy-Con that's like a D-pad.
Right.
Like a really nice D-pad. Because it's a button.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
I touched on it a little bit because it needs to work as 2 players.
Right.
Like, I brought that up earlier.
Okay.
So that's why the D-pad, like, dedicated, offers value. But you know what I would like to see? Like, the real shit.
Mm-hmm.
Fishing controllers. Super Monkey Ball rolling balls.
Yeah, that'd be crazy if they just let third parties make weird stuff.
It would be incredible.
Yeah, that's
Because that would be the best special edition ever. Get your Super Monkey Ball with an actual rollable ball in the fucking controller.
that'd be really cool. Yeah.
Thank you. Windows 10 decided it wanted to talk. What is it?
It looks like something from Twitter. I don't know.
What else? I'm gonna bring this up because you wrote it here. Ports of mobile games.
Yeah.
You think the...
I doubt it personally,
Okay.
but this is something I saw people on the internet, like around NeoGAF, and I believe even didn't Eric bring it up or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Why do people think this?
I guess just because Dana is involved
Yeah.
and listed on that publisher list, which is, 10
Yeah,
really
it's a thing.
yeah.
Because, like, even though the OS and middleware and system network
Mhm.
infrastructure is designed by DNA, calling it. That's Bosman's gig, and I'm not going to steal it because I am a classy gentleman, sir. Now then. Oh, I'm wearing a hoodie. Shit. I did it first, Bossman. I was homeless before you.
Look, he doesn't wear a hoodie anymore. Where's the cardigan or whatever that thing is? The sweater.
Yeah, whatever that fucking thing is. He's staying ahead of the curve.
That's right.
The fuck are we just talking about? I got distracted by Bosman. Stealing his joke.
The Dana thing and mobile games.
Yeah, they're doing the infrastructure and the middleware and stuff, and it's not necessarily that they're bringing games over, but since they were listed on that thing, people are taking it to mean that they're bringing the mobile games over that they're making for Nintendo.
I would think the other reason is people see, it's this little thing that looks like a phone, like it's the big screen, which we don't even know has touch.
Because it's true.
Yeah.
There's no evidence so far it has touch. If it did have touch, probably would have showed it in that video.
Probably.
Just to establish that it has touch.
Right, that video showed so much stuff, that'd be weird not to show.
It would kind of be awkward to reach that far in to touch the screen since it's so big and the Joy-Cons are as well.
Yeah.
On top of that, there seems to be no place for a stylus.
Yeah. I think it'd be really nice to see it not have touch.
Yeah.
Like, not even have any thoughts to give developers, hey, you can click the screen. That's not something you want them thinking about anymore.
Right. Because they, like, if it's going to be a console and a portable, it can't have touch. Like, we brought this up before this video. Like, you really don't want to do that. You don't want to make someone regret having consoled the thing.
Yeah, you don't.
Then you've ultimately fucked up.
Yeah. And I feel like touch stuff has been very well explored. Like, there's not a lot of interesting mechanics left.
And as it turns out, the
None of them
touch
was great.
you get on capacitative instead of resistive, which is far faster response time, those games generally are just not as good feeling.
Yeah. But yeah, the point isn't to be like, you'll take this instead of your phone. That's dumb. You're going to have your phone.
Yeah, no one's going to take, like, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah, like, there would be no point to have mobile games on here, I don't think.
I mean, this whole thing is sort of trying to... No, it's very much being a stab of, like we have our tablet. I have my tablet right here. It's got the stand. It's purple. It's nice. And it's sitting there propped up. Like, when I eat at work on my lunch break, sometimes I do that. And I watch a video or whatever.
Right.
That could be a fucking Switch. That's their argument. Like, you don't need your phone to play games. You don't need this. Look, this thing is every form factor you could possibly want. It's a portable. It can be stood up like a tablet and played with the controllers.
You can play real games on it.
You can play real fucking games like... Well, there's Skyrim. I hope you wanted to spend 120 hours on your lunch break.
God, do I.
Get out, sir. You're Denny's. I know you don't close. You thought you had me. That would be a fun video. We sent Dan into a Denny's to see how long they would allow him to sit there and play video games. Sir, I'm ending my shift. You need to pay out because that's how the drawers work here. I'm not done eating. Yes, you are. And you have been for 4 hours. But yeah, no, this is the ultimate argument of like, You don't need these fucking... Yeah, you're going to have your phone on you, so really quickly you could do that. But look, man, here's this great fucking svelte thing, very thin, very transportable. You can bring it with you anywhere. You want that to stand up and be a premium experience with the controller separate from the screen? We can do that. You want a portable? We can do that. You want a console when you get home? We can fucking do that. We can be fucking everything. There's no reason to not game. So now we're announcing Borderlands 2 because fuck the Vita. Man, that would be weird if they put the Handsome Collection on it.
That would be pretty weird.
I mean,
It'd make more sense to put Battleborn on it.
I mean, it's true. It's fuck Battleborn. Always been true.
Yeah.
History shows again and again, fuck Battleborn.
I'm trying to think, but none of the games I showed were heavily online. I guess
Nope.
that Splatoon is the only one that that's the main feature.
One of the things they stressed is that basketball scenario. Like in their PR,
Yeah.
they were like, you can bring it out and play multiplayer experiences with other people around you. And I'm like, that's an interesting. Because,
Now you get the whole idea is, it's got two controllers right there for people to actually play a game with.
well, they meant the local Wi-Fi
in the Wi-Fi.
for the basketball thing.
Right.
And that was interesting to me. I was like, yeah, I guess since it would need Wi-Fi, you're not going to really hedge your bets. You're not going to place your bets on, you can play online. Because, no, you can't, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a portable, like, it's not going to have a certain data plan.
No. But if you have a cool phone with a cool telecom company with your back, you could maybe spool Wi-Fi to it?
It's true.
I need to have my phone. Yeah, so I found that interesting. Because, yeah, I noticed that too. None of the games were heavily online. I mean, Splatoon could be, but at the same time, it also could be local multiplayer, which I would prefer anyways, instead of relying on the cloud.
Yeah, I mean, they showed...
Oh my god, I just referred to servers in general as the cloud. They've
2016.
They've broken me. You fuckers.
But, yeah, they've shown... Or what they showed was actually a match of 8 people in one room.
Mm-hmm. Which is cool as fuck.
Yeah.
We can have a real Ridge Racer proposal.
It's been too long, Dan.
It has been too long.
Maybe a Ridge Racer will come to this.
No.
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't even dream.
No. Don't dream. So we haven't talked about specs.
Well, I mean, you go into a little bit with NVIDIA.
But real quick, I just wanted to really get into that. Probably has a 720p screen. It's probably not OLED. Probably. I mean, It could be. But they need to keep the price low.
Right.
And if you want a nice screen, you have your TV, so fuck off. It's gonna have this Tegra Pascal edition, so it's gonna be really, really powerful. A lot of people, they're still thinking the old report. They're still thinking it's this Tegra. Like, it's a Tegra? Which one? Oh, it's that Tegra. Because they still haven't announced the Pascal Tegra. They just announced that this was a Pascal Tegra in the PR for the Switch, and they weren't going to go into details because that's up to Nintendo.
Right.
And Nintendo certainly does not want them to go into details.
Yeah.
Because
that's not Nintendo.
Yeah, well, Nintendo never wins that war.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, a Pascal Tegra could get really fucking close, like the Digital Foundry pointed out, really fucking close to a core PS4. Which is insane!
Yeah, no. If this thing looks like a PS4, but you can walk around with it,
then it just makes a PS4 look fucking retarded, doesn't it?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
I mean, to be fair, the PS4 Slim still requires active fan and thermals coming from the wall at all times.
Right.
So it can't. You would think. But you were talking about when Mark Cerny and other people were going over the PS4 Pro and how that works. They're like, well, basically we can just clock up what the original architecture was because we're limited by what that is, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So, this will probably... I believe the Digital Foundry was pointing out something like, it'll be approximately Xbox One-ish. Right?
Right.
Which is fucking mind-blowing for a portable.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider, how amazing Nintendo's games on the Wii U look. The first party.
Yeah, yeah.
And that
Nintendo,
thing's shit.
They sap Like, they made Wii look good with Galaxy games.
Right, Galaxy looked amazing. It still looks better than a lot of PS3 titles.
It's true.
And that thing was 3 GameCubes.
Wasn't it 2 GameCubes?
That was 2.
Yeah.
And then the
Don't give
Wii
them
was
that.
1.5 Wiis or something. I don't know.
It was dumb.
The whole thing's dumb. How many GameCubes is this?
That's what we really need to know, Dan.
That's what people really want to know. But yeah, I think if it's that powerful...
We've made 32 Marios run around. It's 32 GameCubes.
Wait, didn't you have 128 Marios on the GameCube?
Did we?
Mario 128? I think I recall something
No, we
about
didn't
that.
do that. Where'd
I'm a
the
game
kid go?
journalist. I'm really pedantic and remember Mario 128, but I don't remember who said the Toy Story line well, ever. It was Microsoft. Microsoft said the Xbox would have Toy Story-like graphics. You fucking piece of shit game journalists. Look, here's the thing. This is how I've always felt. If you want to take Sony to trial on something, at least make sure they did it, because they certainly, with the digital locker and the cell processor and IP cameras and 7 video streams, they've set it in 2 HDMI outputs for 2 1080p outputs on your PS3. They said enough shit where we have plenty to take them to trial over. You don't have to accredit them to fucking Microsoft's bullshit. But in any case,
I'm still looking forward to Crackdown 3 with its cloud processing.
Bob, that was Crash Bandicoot. Believe it. Where is that Crash Bandicoot remaster? I give so much more of a shit about that than any game that comes out by the end of this year. But Dan, what about The Last Guardian? Look, I don't care about The Last Guardian, but I'm buying The Last Guardian because I need to play The Last Guardian so it can be over. Oh wow, that made me sad. Yeah. In any case, let's actually let's talk about how there's no backwards compatibility. We just covered that.
Yeah, we did talk
Fuck
about
that. That's fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck everything. You know what is an interesting fork off of backwards compatibility?
Uh-huh.
Virtual console.
Yeah.
Virtual console has an immense amount more value when you can take it everywhere.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, they need to sell these Mario retro games emulated on a phone. And it's like, no, on a phone it'll control like shit with virtual pad.
Yeah.
Just sell it on the Switch.
Everyone who plays with those emulators knows it doesn't feel great. Like, okay, there are a lot of deniers.
Yes,
They're crazy.
A lot. Android has a user base. There are a lot of deniers.
It's true.
Tossing shade on Android. How many bodies will be left in our wake, Bob?
But yeah, the whole idea they had were that you couldn't even, like, you'd have to buy it on the Wii U in the 3DS separate.
Right.
That was crazy.
That one thing proves the use for the Switch more than anything. The PSP to PS3, the Vita to the PS3.
Yeah.
All of this proves the case. We want this. And Sony sold the Vita based on the premise that people want this. People really fucking want this thing. Because we just want to buy it once and fucking play it. Wherever.
Yeah.
And they're doing it. And it's going to be great. So yeah, you know what? You sell me Castlevania 3 for $5, I'll do it.
Yeah. I mean, I bought these games before on the Wii. I think I only bought like 2 things on the Wii U Virtual Console because I knew.
Yeah. And what was it, RSR?
Yeah, Aria Sorrow. And probably something else I can't remember.
Because they need to know. This was the best one. Spoilers, that was the best one. So in a future video when I pretend to be dumb, like, I don't know if Aria Sorrow is a bit... I should review every Castlevania and do Aria last and do that voice every time. Be like, I don't know, Aria Sorrow might be the best. I have to play through them all, and you have to watch every video and give me 10,000 likes.
Talking of Castlevania, 2 things on that developer list. Konami's on it? That's weird.
Are they doing a middleware or some sort of service? Like,
yeah, I don't know.
Is Pachinko coming to the
Are they bringing
Switch?
Pro Evo to it? Like, that's the only thing.
yeah, I guess
video.
that's possible.
Yeah. And then Anticrates is on there, which, I mean, that could be Bloodstained.
That would be blood.
Because, I mean, what else are they gonna do?
Who's gonna buy Mighty Number 9 at this point?
Yeah, no. They didn't. They seem to want to just break full leash on that project. That thing didn't even see a single update after launch.
Broken fucking PS3 trophies.
Yeah.
Sony, you're such pieces of shit for letting them do that.
Yeah. Yeah, there is, for as much as we've heard developers complain about how hard it is to get something through that process. What makes it through that process is gross.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure that Lab Zero never sent in something that broken.
And yet,
they
get cock blocked.
Right? Because they're smaller. Which is weird. Like, how the heck is Indie Crates any bigger than that?
They had Deep Silver publishing them.
Oh, right. They did. And they could get Dead Island released.
Yeah. The real heavy hitters. Do you think we'll see a Dead Island remaster for the Switch? I sure hope so. I wonder if any of these indie games are going to show the support to the Switch.
Devolver Digital already said that they were doing it.
They're like, hell yeah, son. Which is great because I bought some of their games on the Vita.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of those indie games are great for portables.
Mm-hmm. They're going to be a lot better than a lot of these big scale games like Skyrim that are not great portable experiences, maybe.
Or maybe just not great experiences. Well,
here's an idea. Skyrim's shit. Hey, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
To each their own, right?
Yeah, basically.
What idiots. I respect you, unless you play Skyrim. Here's another good question. Does it have Ridley?
Does it? We went into this slightly before, but that was just in the vector of Smash Bros.
I feel like...
Yeah. There could be Ridley in general.
The new Metroid could be Ridley.
It could be. It could play as Ridley.
Ridley Defense Forces.
Yeah, right. I mean, you sit in the middle of the tower.
Uh-huh.
You shoot the little Samuses that come attack you every day.
Yeah, you make the sound from Super Metroid repeatedly.
Yes.
That's what you do. You make that sound. And she's like, and she just walks away.
Well, I mean, it's not really Samus. It's like little robot Samuses.
Do they go Mekareta?
Probably.
Okay. I mean, then it's okay. As long as it's a Cromartie reference that no one will get, I'll be... I'm really glad there are no motion controls.
Yeah.
I'm really fucking sick of this. Like, I made the point multiple times. It was like, hey, remember the Game Boy? Remember the Game Boy Advance? Remember things before the Wii and DS? That was good. There's a good, wholesome goodness to... It has buttons, you hit them, and you play the game.
Yeah. All this nonsense that ruined the industry for a while.
Motion controls. Look at the Vita. The worst parts of it is touchscreen, reverse touchscreen, and gyroscope.
Yeah. Like, those being there made things worse.
Yes.
Like Uncharted.
And it could have worked better on a TV if it didn't have any of those.
Yeah. Yeah. But we're done with that.
We're done. The Vita's dead. Speaking of which, the Vita sold about as many units as the Wii U. That's how bad off the Wii U is.
Yeah. Not surprising.
Nope. Okay, Bob. Here's a good question. What's the standard of quality from Nintendo for this?
Yeah, this is something I was actually wondering about, because there's a lot of stuff that's on 3DS that is lower budget, and clearly that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
like Fire Emblem.
Yeah, Fire Emblem, like Trump Trade from Nintendo even, and then, of course, other third parties like people doing Bravely Default and all that stuff. Like, there's obviously a lower bar to hit to release on there.
Yes.
So it's kind of scary the thought of losing a system where people can make lower budget games like that.
Yeah.
Because those are great games. Like, and if they can only make them in that budget range, I'm fine with the graphics not being good. So I hope that Nintendo is too, and they don't have any weird like standard of you have to make it look as good as like.
I don't think that's Nintendo's gig, especially now that they've had so many failures.
Right.
I feel like they're a bit more open.
And of course, Pokemon. Like, there's no way. Like, they just.
That thing looks great.
Yeah,
just
the new Pokemon looks really good. Like, if it just is on this and runs better, that'd be fine for me.
And higher res. Like, it's literally just rendered at a higher res. I would buy a port of the latest Pokemon to that, Sun and Moon, to that system, on the spot.
Yeah. Like, I feel like that is a perfectly acceptable level of graphics.
I will miss the touchscreen for a really quick input in battles.
Yeah.
That's it. Because you could...
Yeah, it was
and that's
one of the few good uses made for it back And the original DS, when people had ideas and used them for that.
And they felt good. And nowadays, you probably wouldn't miss it, to be honest.
Yeah, I honestly find myself using the buttons pretty frequently in
Pokemon?
In Pokemon, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, see?
Yeah.
See? That's not worth it.
Because buttons feel good to press, turns out.
Whoa! Really? I hope the buttons on this feel good to
They
press.
better.
On at least one of the controllers.
Right? There's so many options.
You take half your dick and shove it on a tit, and then you can just attach that with the tit-dick connector.
I don't like this.
No, it's all freaky. It's like, okay, let's play some Mario Kart, and it gets weird. I'm really excited for that Mario Kart. I'm always excited for Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart is always really cool.
What?
I remember it being actually pretty fun. It was on the Wii U.
Mhm.
I couldn't justify that.
No.
That's like 2 people playing at once. Oh, wait, no. 4, but
And it looks terrible.
it looks terrible, runs terrible, and yeah, it just isn't the same.
Yeah.
Everyone needs to have their own DS.
God damn it.
Switch, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
Switch. Switch is way cooler. Like, than a DS. That thing is so cool. Just the way it looks in that, that's some radical fucking shit. This is a portable that has a kickstand in it.
That is neat.
You're just, boom, we are gaming, motherfucker. Like, that's a cool feeling. This would feel, like, it already feels cool that I have a stand built into this that I can, and it stands up. You'd make that a game console, like a real-ass game console, that's a billion times better. Because it's just like, boom, time to smash.
Yeah.
So hyped.
So, when's the Wii U Pro GameCube controller?
Yeah, I wonder if the GameCube adapter is going to be able to work via those controller ports, if they're going to have some sort of adapter to hook up the GameCube adapter.
That'd be great.
For the dock. Yeah, that'd be good. And then you just have to use the portable controllers portably.
Right.
Which, compromise.
Right.
That's what the Joy-Con connector's for. Right? So,
Yeah.
Because you don't want to, like, hold the screen and be like, Smash Bros!
I mean, there's also just the straight up Pro controller and that.
That's true.
That thing
Looks nice.
It looks
It's
pretty
got a nice
nice.
D-pad.
Yeah. It honestly, some of the design aesthetics remind me of like third-party controllers.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of them I've seen with bigger, bulkier handles like that has.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which those are comfortable controllers, honestly. They don't look super fashionable or anything,
Yeah.
but they get the job done.
And that's kind of Nintendo most of the time. This tablet console is really the first time that it's been like, I look really svelte.
It's true.
Because even the GameCube controller looks weird.
Yeah, no, it looks weird with... Yeah.
Weird. But it's super comfortable and very functional. Kind of.
For what it was going... Or for what
For
they did.
Smash Bros.
For Smash Bros.
It was perfect.
And for Resident Evil 4...
But mostly Smash Bros. It was perfect. Yeah, where's our port of RE4?
Where is it, Capcom?
I want to play that everywhere. Resident Evil 2 remaster better come to this thing.
I'm sorry, it's one more console they can port Resident Evil 4 to. It's already
It's time to buy it a
amazing.
6th time, you guys.
That's right.
I bought it on the Wii, PS2, GameCube, PS3, 360, PC.
I guess I've
PS4.
only bought it 3 times now. Because I bought the
That's good.
GameCube, the PS2, and then the PS4.
I bought it 0 times.
Good for you, Dan.
I haven't played through Resident Evil 4.
Great.
Sometimes I play a game and I go, this is really fun, and then the fun drops off even slightly, and I'm like, I'm just gonna play that part for the rest of time.
Oh yeah,
I feel-
Konami could also port Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, that should be doable. I mean, that game was cross-gen.
Yeah, that was on PS3 360, so if they could get it on there, they can put it on
It
this.
was on retard boxes, so.
Right?
Because, that's what I want. I want to be playing a game with quiet in it while I'm on a bus.
Look, we were talking about it Bayonetta being on earlier.
Yeah,
Let's just get that.
I thought you were playing a Nintendo. Yeah. Yeah, cameras are creeps. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go back to checking my Tumblr. Ass photo, ass photo, ass photo.
These are real people, though, so it's normal.
That's how porn works. Thank you. Animated porn's weird and distinctly Japanese for sure.
Us Americans would
I've never
create-
animate porn
Or, yeah. No,
or furry porn.
definitely not that.
What the fuck was the name of that movie from the 70s? It was something the cat. Whatever. Fuck that thing. God, what the hell? Hey, Bob. Hey. Storage.
Yeah.
Number one most important question.
I didn't see a slot for it. but we didn't see all the sides.
Right?
So
It's gotta have a slot.
Yeah.
There's no way you're like,
yeah,
you can buy the Switch with 32, 64, and 128 gigs built in. Because I'm like, fuck you, and third hand, fuck you.
yeah.
Because if you just allow me an SD card slot, I got a 512 gigabyte SD card we're using to film me right now that I will haphazardly buy again for a portable that I may lose.
Right?
Which, man, this is a lot less losable than, like, I don't know. I guess it's as losable as a 3DS, I guess.
Yeah, I mean...
I feel like I would be so paranoid about the screen. Because, you fold a 3DS close and it's good.
That is something I love about the 3DS design. That's the main thing I think I'll miss for this. Like, it no longer protects itself. But I mean,
See, Bob's afraid to have a Merce.
I already have the Vita, and that hasn't been an issue. Of course, I don't take that anywhere because it's the Vita.
Well, you haven't taken it anywhere in a while.
Yeah.
You were taking it places when Samurai Cockroach was the thing.
It's true.
Which is why you're prepared to play Metal Gear Solid 5 in public.
That's right.
And Bayonetta. You're like, what? I'm stomping this demon's butthole in.
This is important.
This is adult business for my YouTube channel. Thank you. That's Bayonetta in a nutshell.
It's true.
It really is. Of course, I didn't mention the part where there's a whip wrapped around the demon's neck and you're like riding it while you're stomping its ass in because that game.
And then the guillotine drops. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Man.
And then she jerks him off real quick.
What's wrong with Kamiya?
A lot. But overall, Bob, I'm convinced that if this launches for $400 or even less, this will be a gangbuster in this friends group. Which I think our friends group is actually a pretty good indication of the larger gaming market. Because we have like a lot of people who are in a lot of different things in this group.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think even some of the more anti-Nintendo guys, like say Brett,
right,
might come around to this thing to just be like, oh wow, that looks like cool hardware. Whereas Nintendo's like, here's this piece of shit, $350, and everyone's like, no. No, and fuck you. What happens if it's 500? Are you buying it?
I mean, I'd probably still buy it
because it has Zelda on it.
Yeah.
It goes everywhere.
I don't know.
I'm gonna go see Rogue One too.
It's true. I can't stop myself.
I'm so excited for this movie because it says Star Wars in its title. Yeah.
There might be Dark Troopers.
Dark Troopers? I don't even fucking know what that is. Other than it was the title of a Star Wars game on the PlayStation 1 that I played for a few minutes and realized it was a piece of shit.
Well, I played that game on the PC and it was great.
Okay, that's a different game.
It's true.
But yeah, I think for 500, I might do it. But it's definitely just going to be me and you, I feel.
Yeah, like that 500 really cuts off a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't... That's just not a marketable price.
No.
Like, I've talked to people in my store, and pretty much everyone I talk to about it, they're super excited for it if they know what it is. If they don't know what it is, they get excited for it because it sounds crazy.
Yeah. I've been saying, this is what everyone wants. Right?
Yeah.
Like, everyone wants to just buy a game and then not have the hassle of having to attach themselves to the console.
Right.
Bob, with the Switch... And this is appealing to me. I don't know about most people. The trailer really hit on this sort of feeling. When I had a laptop, I would go to a place and play like StarCraft or Diablo. And it just gets you out of the house. It gets you in a cool, nice place, whether that's a park or like a whatever, or a cafe. And it just gets you out and it's nice and refreshing. You get to have a nice drink, you get to experience good weather, you get to do whatever, and you still get to game. And that's an experience I've really missed with portables for a while. Like, there wasn't a good enough library to really strongly attach myself to portables as a thing. Like, the Vita had no support.
Yeah.
And the 3DS I just do not like. Like, Pokemon was it for me on the 3DS. I own more than Pokemon. That's really all I own and liked. Like a ton.
Man, it'd be cool. I just saw this to see a port of Kid Icarus.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a port of Mirror of Fate.
No, you didn't. You didn't think that for even a second.
I thought that genuinely. I didn't say it to be dick. You're like, oh, Mirror of Fate. So werewolf cool. A real reviewer would have said that. That fucking comment. That comment is infamous. Go check out our Mirror of Fate review. There's a comment on there that says werewolf cool. It's amazing. In any case, Bob.
Yeah.
Bob. Kid Icarus, really? Like, how does that control without the touch? Like, does it not use the touch?
That game basically made you use the touch. It's a second analog stick because it didn't have one.
Well, that's brilliant. What is wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that. But yeah, no. Yeah, that would be a lot better.
Yeah, no, that game would be really fun.
If it didn't ruin wrists and leave bodies in its wake, that game would be a lot better.
Yes.
If it didn't almost kill the guy who made Smash Bros, that game would be a lot better. Maybe he shouldn't make weaponized games.
Right? You'd think at some point of giving himself a wrist disorder,
yeah,
he would have stopped development. And it's been like, no, man.
Oh, hey, this is a dark path. Let's turn back and just make nothing. Because I gotta make Smash in 2 weeks.
We'll release it as an anime.
There you go. Good enough. There will be a Kirby game on this.
Probably, yeah.
There will be a lot of things. And the value of those things gets increased greatly by it being portable and a home console. I'm really excited for the Switch. I want to call it the NX.
Right.
It has a nice sound.
It's still just in our
Switch
head.
is a good name, though. I really do think so. It makes it clear it is not a sequel to jack shit.
Yes. I'm really surprised it still has plus-minus buttons.
Me too.
Yeah, that's a weird thing. I didn't think they'd carry over.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone in the industry got rid of Start and Select, but here we are.
Yeah. You'd think that them being like the guys who did it first would be like, no, man,
we're going back.
I
mean, they did like, oh, it looks like an N64 controller, kind of. Oh, it's got Skyrim. Like, they seem to have everyone's number, and yet they're like, plus and minus, fuck you. It's still TV remote control. Adjust your volume with this and this. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's up with the plus and minus. Yeah, that thing needs removable storage, though.
Yeah,
because if you can record clips...
Oh, yeah. No, then you really need it. Jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the games will all come with their own cartridge if they buy the cartridge version. I'm sure there's going to be downloadable versions.
And there will be tons of people who download the digital versions, and they'll be like, why does this take forever to download? That take up so much space. Why is this so hard? This is the future. And it's like, how do you say all of these things back to back? How do you talk about how hard and inconvenient it is, and then also say it's the future? You're an idiot. That was the future of PC. That doesn't need to be the future of consoles.
Yeah. Though on portable, it's great to have everything just available and not have to have it pull around a pile of games.
Also, oh yeah, I know. I bought
Yeah.
Blaze Blue on the Vita digitally and Dragon's Crown because I knew I'd never not want those. And that's what I'll do this time. Also, since the Switch has officially debuted, the Rant is Go Discart Cloud has been proven correct, and we went back to cartridges, you fucks! I win!
GigaBoots has been brought to you by the remarkable generosity of Nicholas Cameron and Vincent Pover. Go to patreon.com/GigaBoots and support GigaBoots today.